What's up, everybody? Long time no see. We took a little bit of a break. Had some complications with the internet.
Yeah.
Let's say the internet.
We're late again. We're shooting for 7:30.
But if people know Winnipeg people, we like to make an entrance.
Yeah.
And that's what we're all about. You know, we're right on time actually.
Yeah.
You know? What's going on, everybody? If no one can see us and no one can hear us, it's right again. We made it right again. We're right on schedule and right up to date with software. And we're still new.
Yeah. Still figuring shit out. So.
And after a year or two,
Forgive us. Yeah.
but we still figuring out shit again. I
So-
feel like you're hogging the camera.
Yeah. Maybe just turn it towards you a bit.
What we did is we had to do renovations where we were before, so we renovated everything. If you can tell in the background, we got renovations happened. We've been making way too much money on all the views.
Yeah. So we bought a house and now we're.
Yeah, thanks.
We have a studio now.
We got studio. We got so many viewers
Yeah.
that we just decided to buy a house, and we call it the Palace, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
So thank
And,
you, everybody.
Big party next weekend, guys. The addresses.
Yeah, we'll send out the address, but you know what? We just keep on supporting us, and you know what? You'll be invited to that next party,
Yeah, the viewer party.
the super viewer. Yeah, but anyways, we're having a good night. We golf season started, which Soup loves.
I love it. Yeah, I golf.
He's a super
That's
golfer.
crazy.
He's always golfing, and it's crazy. He goes golf something else, but yeah, no. So it was a crazy week. We took a couple weeks off.
We did, yeah. Why did we take off last week? Because it was.
We had too many autographs.
Yeah, we had to go to an autograph signing, and so didn't make it back on time. It was a fan meet and greet, and
If you guys missed it, it's not our fault.
yeah, like
You know, things happen, and you gotta understand that.
my mom was there, and Les's mom was there, so there was like four of us.
Our wives didn't show
Our
up.
wives didn't show up. So,
But it was worth it. But yeah, no, it was a good time. I can't wait. Vic's taking a little bit of a break. He's on a holiday.
he's not here with us today.
He's going down, visiting his family. He's still swimming, probably. But
Yeah.
Vic, we love you. And when you're ready, we'll give you a little handy on the way back, and that's it.
Yeah.
How was your week?
My week was okay.
Was it?
Didn't really do a whole lot.
No?
No,
You didn't do a lot?
no, I didn't do a whole lot.
But you did do one thing.
What?
You watched the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that last.
Last
My
Sat-
favorite
Saturday.
show last Sunday. Yeah, last
No,
Sunday.
Saturday. Don't tell people the truth.
No, last Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
And everyone talks about the Game of Thrones like this show is by far the best show ever to exist.
It is the greatest thing ever. In my opinion, it's like watching an epic movie. It's like movie level quality production, but it's a TV show, right? So you imagine like I think one episode of Game of Thrones cost them like $5 million to make. You know, so they don't hold any. There's no budget for their episodes. And
Well, let me ask you this question then. Because I've never seen the Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I watched 30 minutes of the first opening season.
yeah.
And everyone yells at me every time I say that. If you could compare that show to another show, like even like through the history of the street or the
Yeah.
reality shows or whatever
Yeah.
show, how good is it if you're comparing it to someone that's never ever watched it?
I mean, do you like did you like Braveheart, for example?
I did. I love
If you
Braveheart.
love Braveheart, then
You know what?
Game of Thrones is like a longer version of Braveheart, but with
Mel Gibson.
dragons and like fantasy creatures and stuff.
It just
yeah.
keeps going.
Yeah, it's and they're on their last season, so there's only 3 more episodes left, which is gonna be sad.
Is it sad?
Oh yeah, it's because I mean you think about it, the show's been started in I can't remember when it started, but I want to say 2012. The show started.
12?
Yeah, 2012.
So it's like 7, 8 years old.
Yeah, because they take a pretty long hiatus. They'll do like
Can you define hiatus for the people that are stupid?
hiatus
break?
is like a break. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
So they'll do like 2, like the last People have been waiting 2 years now to see this final
Oh,
episode.
really?
Yeah, so they have a big break. So the cool thing about it is,
So people are just like,
oh yeah, people, it's like a phenomenon, right? It's just like, it's so epic. Like when you say the word epic gets thrown around a lot, but this show is epic on another level.
it's like love. No,
oh,
sorry.
it's like watching George R. R. Martin, the guy who wrote the books for the show, is probably the greatest author of all time. I think.
Really?
Oh yeah. Just compared to like the movie is pretty heavily detailed and there's a lot of stuff in the movie, right? But in the book, it's even more detailed than the actual. You know, and I haven't read all the books. So.
Did he write anything else?
Most of his, I think, I'm not, don't quote me on that, but I think he has written a few other things, but nothing as popular as his Game of Thrones books. So
Okay.
And the thing is, the book only a few seasons. I think it's on 8 seasons, so I think about the 5th season, he hasn't even written the final books yet. So then after the 5th season, they had to like make up the rest of the show, right?
That's
So,
interesting.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
different. So, is what's like, without giving it away? I'm not trying to get too much into this without giving this away, what is the show like really about? What's the like plot?
Well, the show is basically the show is a political drama.
Political drama.
Political drama set in a fantasy world.
Ooh,
Yeah, so
interesting.
that's what it is. It's basically there's 7 provinces, right? We'll say 7 like states.
Do they
for
call them
example.
provinces or states? Do you know?
They call them. I think they call them.
Some enchanted fucking name, whatever.
No, they'll call them like. I forget. Like they just have areas that have specific names. Like,
Okay, so but
you
they're
know,
not. I
like-
thought when you got me excited when you said
Yeah,
provinces.
but like each province, right? I think they actually do call it provinces, but each province has their own people, like their own culture, their own king. Right?
Oh.
Okay, so, but there's the one land that has the best. It's like by a bay, so it's got the best for like shipping and like all of the they have all the best amenities in that there, and that, so.
So it's basically based on old history.
It is. The books are based off of real life history. You ever watch like the War of the Roses? Have you ever seen
Never.
that?
No,
War
sorry, I
of the
haven't,
Roses. Yeah. It's basically like the I forget what country it is. France or England?
Probably one of those two.
Yeah, and it's just
Might have
based
been
off
Italy.
of like basically the whole show premise is like everybody's vying to be because one guy is the king of all the kings.
So they're trying to overtake to be dominant.
Yeah,
And they're all
yeah.
trying to
They're
fight
all
each
trying,
other.
and then they all like some will have alliances here, and then fight this guy, and then something happens, so then they switch alliances to another guy, or
Interesting.
everybody's fighting for their kingdom to become, if not like the ruler, but to be at least like the second biggest.
They're fighting to be the best. They're trying to
Well, they're
get
trying
their
to be
society the best.
not to be the best, but to be like the ruler of all the kingdoms, of the 7 kingdoms.
Okay, so
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Because everybody is, if you're the ruler of the 7 kingdoms, then all the other kings have to kneel down to you,
And they do what you
control-
wanna do.
Yeah, and whatever you say, they have to do.
So it's
right?
pretty much like history.
It is. Oh yeah, like when you watch the show, it's the thing about the show is if you watch the first seasons, you actually watch all the kids that start off. They're like little kids, right? And as the season comes, they become teenagers, and that's like I mean, like the one of the couple of the characters, they're like 8 or 9, right? When they're in the beginning, and now in season 8, the final season, they're like 17, 18-year-old kids.
And
right?
isn't that weird
And
when
it's
you
the
watch these
same
shows?
kid, yeah.
And you actually see them grow up and stuff. Like we watch a couple sitcoms and like I guess you call them sitcoms, like The Middle or some other ones. And when you first start watching them, they're actually like little kids, and then when you actually like watch them today, like they're actually grown teenagers. It's weird to see, like, because they take a couple years off, but
Yeah.
in the show, it's only like seems like,
Yeah.
as it progresses, that they don't. For some reason, it becomes weird when you
Yeah.
see a kid the next year. They're like this big, and they try to
Yeah.
make it out that they're a real family, and
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a right because they're not related at all,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
actors. But anyways, so yeah, that's
No, it's funny because one of the characters, he's like, you see him, he starts off as like a young boy, right? He's like 11, 12, and then puberty hit him like brick because the next season he comes, we're like, is that even the same guy?
That's what I mean.
You know, he's like so big and tall, and then it is the same guy. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean,
that's the funny thing.
that's the thing. You kind of have to commit when you want to watch you have to like political drama, and you have to like fantasy stuff, like knights and shit like that. And the thing with Game of Thrones is, it doesn't hold back anything because it's HBO show, so there's no censorship, you know. So there's brutal violence. There's lots of like sexual stuff. And then, you know, the thing with like everybody, all the main characters, they're all vying to become the number one, right? But they all have like a sidekick, and each sidekick has like a special ability, right? Like one guy has a witch, that's his sidekick that helps him, right? And then another lady will have like a wizard as her sidekick, right? And another one has dragons. Right, she has dragons. So, and then they gotta figure out how to defeat the dragons because she's got the most powerful. The dragons are the most powerful creatures in that whole, right? So she's got to everyone else has to figure out how to beat her with the dragons, right?
That's super interesting.
Oh,
and it's funny because I've only had 2 shows that I've never watched that people have basically said to me, well, have you seen this show? Like, why haven't you seen this show? And it was Sons of Anarchy.
You haven't seen that either?
I didn't watch it.
No.
And the Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Like everyone just talks about it all the fucking time.
Because it's so like the greatest show, movie, entertainment thing ever.
Really?
Like, in my opinion. And you know, like I really like because you know I'm a creative guy, right? So I look at all the things, the little details that they have in there, and it's the little things that he puts in there. He'll go back to it like 3 seasons later, and it'll come back, and you'll be like, holy shit, I can't believe he like wrote something back then and then brought it back here.
So it's like pre-planned kind of thing. Yeah, that's good.
And the best thing about that show is that nobody's safe. That's what makes that show really good and people like it, is because you never know you be following one character and that's your favorite person.
They kill him off.
And he dies.
Really?
And you're just like, what? And then some will be like,
they don't have the bullshit twist at the end where the guy comes back.
Yeah.
Do they have that?
I mean, some of them do, yeah.
Oh,
some parts do, but that's part of the storyline, though, right? But not all of them do. So you can't really, if you haven't watched the show, you're never gonna guess who comes back and who doesn't, right?
So it's so unpredictable.
Yeah, it's super unpredictable.
And the storyline's good.
Yeah, it's something like.
It's weird how some sitcoms like that like really catch on, and like some don't, right? It's just. I guess it comes down to being good or not, I guess, really. But it's like the reason what happened to me is that I wanted to watch it, and I missed the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
And then it was almost too much of a commitment, so it scared me.
It is a commitment, yeah.
Because like you get sucked in, and then you like got to dedicate literally a full season of watching it.
Yeah. But do you sit? I've never binge watch stuff.
I have. You know what? When I not to go back to the China thing, but when I lived in China, I had so much. Extra time, disposable time, I'll call it. Like, not saying that that's disposable time for you, because if you do it when you're up to date, that's different.
Yeah.
But if you have to catch up for something, you have to really dedicate. So when I was in China, we used to buy like the Star Trek series. Like series 1, 2, whatever it was. Like the first one, that we binge watch it all together. And we go through that. And I used to do that all the time. But now if you miss some and I can't commit to it, it just pisses me off that I can't really do it. There's one show, which you might laugh at me, that me and my wife, like, we sit down and we pre-record it and we go through it, is Big Brother.
There's quite a few people that are still. I can't believe that show's still on the air, but yeah.
Big Brother, like Canada or the States, and it's the reason why for me and my wife why it's so entertaining. I think is because it's like when you're in sales, you deal with a lot of like mind tricks and mind games. So I think that's why it's so entertaining for me, probably obviously for her as well, is that like people like play these like sly little remarks and how you like manipulate different situations and stuff.
See, that's the thing. That's why if you like that, then Game of Thrones is like the top of like mind games and the strategy behind, you know, trying to. There's a lot of guys in there who they're not warriors, they can't fight, but their whole skill is convincing people or playing mind games with people to get to what they want, you know. Like there's a few guys in there like who start off with they're like nothing. They started off as slaves, and then because they become so skilled at like manipulating people, then they bring themselves. Now they're like on the small council, which is like the king's council that.
The over
Yeah,
rules everything.
yeah.
I think that's what's intimidating about series that are like so good, is that to get like that obviously everyone else. I'm not anyone different. So, please look up Aura Bites the Couch on the YouTube. Was that a trick? I should feel like I got tricked into something there.
I don't know.
Aura Bites the Couch
Risky,
seems like
risky.
that's a risky. We're new. We're not that new at stuff. On Twitch, someone just said, "Look up Aura Bites the Couch." If someone could YouTube that for us, then send us a message. But I bet that's good. But that's the thing, is like committing into like a series when they're that good is kind of like, I look at it now as like it's like a challenge. I mean, I don't want, because I know I love like like I know I love Big Brother.
Yeah.
And I know how addictive I got to Big Brother. It's
Yeah.
like Sheep was like, Big Brother night.
Yeah.
They'll be at work at like 10 o'clock. She's like, are you home? You're gonna be home in time?
Yeah.
She's like, get home right now. And if I'm late, she's like, get the fuck, don't worry about anything else. Just get the fuck home and we're watching this. We sit down.
And that's what a lot of people feel about Game of Thrones too, right? Like I can't miss, if it's out, I'm gonna watch it, you know. So like they had a couple seasons ago, they had somebody leak the whole season.
No.
Yeah. Online, and then so.
Did you look at it?
Oh, I watched the whole thing.
No.
From beginning to end.
No.
Yeah,
You couldn't resist.
No.
I would resist.
It's just the way they.
I would totally resist.
You couldn't. No.
No, you couldn't. You're right.
No, you
No,
couldn't.
but the thing is, that's the thing is, we both don't have social media.
Yeah.
Which is such a like hypocritical thing, since we do this podcast and stuff, because we're like, well, we don't want to do this. We don't have social media, but the thing is, I'll speak for myself, because I think she's my wife will like watch it ahead of time and stuff and then pretend to me. But like that'll just ruin it for us.
Yeah.
You know, for me, right? So I can't.
Why would it ruin it though? Because now you're just seeing what happened.
Way ahead of time, though.
Yeah.
Way ahead.
Then you don't have to wait to.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You don't have, because the thing about a season is like 8
You're right.
months.
You're right.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, depending
You're
on
right.
how many episodes, right?
Let me be truthful about this.
Yeah.
I'm actually just scared of my wife.
Oh
Because
yeah.
if I'd watch it without her, she'll just like beat the shit out of me. Not
Well, you
literally,
don't say
everyone.
it. You just don't tell her.
I know. I'm just a bad liar, though. I cannot not tell my wife.
Oh.
Because I just sit there and watch the show and like,
She could tell when you're lying.
yeah, I'm not a good liar.
Okay.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's funny. I just was always thinking about that. I'm like, it must be a good show if everyone's talking about
Oh,
it.
it's the greatest show ever. Like I can't. But the thing is, you kind of have to get through the first season because it's such an epic storyline. The first season's only introduction. It's just introducing all the characters, what they're about, where they're from, what their purpose is in the show, right? So you have to get through that first season, and then once the first season finishes, the second season is when it starts to get really good, and when the big huge battles start to happen, and like
That was my problem, because I did watch like half the first season, and
Yeah.
it was like all I remember is a small guy, small people. That's a political term. The small people,
Yeah.
and he was like going through all these like, and they had this like map of where they were, and they had this fairy chick,
yeah.
and they were trying to introduce the characters, and like that's my problem, is that like I need them to fucking speed that shit up.
Yeah.
Like it should be like a video game.
Yeah.
You know, like Mortal Kombat, where like you look at the people and it tells their character what they
Yeah.
are, and you read about it.
Yeah.
So I need that in the TV show. It just like shows small guy, he's the ruler of this nation. And then
Yeah.
you have the fairy chick,
Yeah.
this is the ruler of this. And then
Well, that's the
just,
thing.
like,
There's because that show has so many characters. There's no like real main character. There's like in the beginning, there's probably like 8 or 9 characters.
That's all I remember.
Yeah.
I only remember 4 of them.
So see, like you were like the Peter Dinklage.
That's
who
a small guy, right?
Yeah, Tyrion.
Peter Dinklage.
He plays-
That's a good name for him.
Plays Tyrion Lannister, and his skill is he's obviously not a warrior or anything, right? So his skill is getting
I don't want to know.
getting people what they want.
He's a manipulator.
Yeah, he's
like
a manipulator, but
manipulator.
he does it he gets his way by making people happy, and it helps that he's like the son of one of the richest guys or the richest guy in the whole kingdom, right?
Can I ask you this then?
Sure.
So is that Peter Dinklage?
Mm-hmm.
In the seasons you're at, is that like a guy that's still powerful?
Oh yeah, he's still one of the main characters right now. Yeah.
Oh, he
he's,
is,
he's
eh?
probably like I want to say one of the most popular characters actually, just because he's like a drunk, he's an alcoholic, that likes to go
sounds good.
whoring, yeah. And,
Go whore?
Yeah.
As a
He goes to
small person?
brothels and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's funny because not to spoil it, but then they're like, some guys captured him, right, and they're like, cut off his dick.
With a butterfly
No,
net?
they're like,
With a butterfly net?
cut off his dick because dwarf dicks have magic powers, right? and then his thing is like, how if you cut it off, how are you gonna prove that it's a dwarf dick, right? And he goes, and the guy's like, well, you can tell by the size, and he's like, think again, guess again. He's like, guess again.
This is a real scene in that
Yeah,
movie?
it's a real scene in the movie. He's
Oh,
like,
that's
guess again.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Fucking dwarf. Yeah, you can tell a difference.
No,
Because dwarf dicks aren't bigger, right?
I
Have you seen
I don't really look at a lot of
how many
that. That's not my type of porn. So.
I thought I got you.
Yeah.
I've never seen it either. Just kidding.
Yeah. No.
Do you need a beer? Hey, you guys
Oh,
need a
no,
beer
still
over there?
good.
You're still good?
Yeah, I'm still good. Yeah.
Okay,
All right. So what is everybody else up to tonight? Let's see. We got. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Back to thanks for the support, everyone. Like we just bought like this huge house from all your like likes and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Man.
We're next cast. We're probably gonna be in like Hawaii or something, right?
Well,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
that's obviously what we're doing
Yeah.
because that's what we do.
Uh,
Well, so nothing else happened this week. Everything's good. Work was
I went
good.
to my kid had her spring concert.
What's a spring concert?
It's just like a concert that they do in the spring.
No, no.
yeah.
Oh, smart.
Yeah. No, literally,
there's
that's
no-
just like they just do
there's
random
no-
songs.
Nothing else to it.
No.
But
you know, they have a
was-
Christmas concert and a spring concert.
Was it something in the day like?
Yeah. Well, they had
was it
two.
like Easter.
They had
thing
two
or
shows.
something?
No.
Nothing. They started up a concert.
Yeah, it's just the concert that the schools do to
Oh, that's cool.
showcase the music program or whatever.
Oh, that makes sense. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Spring concert.
Yeah, it was not bad.
Yeah, it was like so
It
crazy.
was
Yeah.
alright, yeah.
Woo! Cardi B
There was
came
a
on.
lot of accordion
Record-
recorders. Like,
Fuck, I love the
Yeah.
recorder. Were you in band when you were in school?
no, my school didn't have like a band, right? Like we had music class where you play whatever the
But you never had like
yeah, we
in
never
grade
had,
9,
like,
you never
a-
had to pick like art or band.
Yeah, they never had that. No.
Really?
No,
Well,
no. Not even in high school. I don't think we had a band. I don't know. I can't remember. They had like the high school I went to. They had like a full like concert band with like, and they tour and do like.
yeah. No,
So-
we did too. Yeah.
So they had to have like.
You had to be good
You have to be good. Yeah.
and care.
Yeah, and care. Yeah.
That's the
So-
hard thing. It's funny. Not a lot of people know this, but like, when I
You
was
play
in
the
high,
flute?
I used to participate in the flute.
The stupid flute.
It was called something different back in the day. It was called the musical flute. No, I was in I wasn't in band because I was a sucker and I was smart like in high school. Like I was like, how can I get the easy credits? So I was like, I'll take like woodworking, sewing.
Sewing.
Well, like people might judge
Okay.
me, but I took sewing.
Well,
But I was smart.
Yeah.
Because there was like
That's
tons,
home ec,
tons
right?
of chicks in
Home
that
ec,
class.
yeah. I
So it
think
was
I took
just
sewing.
like me and chicks.
Yeah.
And I was a good sword. And then I took art, I was saying, and I took home ec, which is cooking.
Mm-hmm. I took that too. Yeah.
It was good. All you do is just like get
Make-
stoned, and then you go and eat
make
a whole bunch of
cookies.
food. Yeah.
Make cookies and shit. Yeah.
And like one glass is like cooking, and then you eat.
yeah, yeah.
It was like the best thing ever. Like
Yeah.
who would not take this damn class? It was the best class. And then I joined a band, and I don't fucking know anything about music.
Like a real band? Or
Yeah,
like a school
I was
band?
in a real band.
Oh yeah, what did you
Like
do?
a rock band.
Like,
dude.
what did you do?
Do you want to know the name of our band? You should ask us the name of the band
What's
first.
the name of the band?
So we were like 14 or 15. And we were sitting around,
Yeah.
and they're like, "What should we name ourselves?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Fuck!" And we had one chick in our band, and the chick's like, "Interesting. We should name ourselves," she said, "Salty Goodness."
Salty goodness. So, well, that's pretty interesting name. Interesting.
And like there was 3 guys and 1 girl, and the girl came with that name.
Yeah.
And we were like, "Yeah, that's a fucking good name.
That's a cool name,
That's
man.
a really fucking awesome name."
Yeah.
So fucking every other month or every couple months, we used to have like a talent contest
Yeah.
at school,
Yeah.
where like you'd sit like you'd have like
You
theater.
guys have
room.
talent contests?
Yeah, like you had a
See, I didn't
theater.
have that in my school, man.
I grew up in the country though,
Oh, okay.
so like that's all we had to do for entertainment. Man.
Oh, yeah.
We had nothing else. So we had a theater room, and then every month or every other month, anyone could enter this like contest and you could do stuff. So we used to put our band in there.
Yeah.
And like when I look back now, thinking that like, you know, like teachers that taught us classes and like that were
Yeah.
adults and like they're my age,
Yeah.
maybe older than me, and we stand up there, we grab the mic,
Yeah.
and we have this chick that's the guitarist and singer and is so enthusiastic and goes, and now, playing for you guys, is Salty Goodness.
Were you guys any good?
No, we were fucking.
What did you do? What was your
I
role in
played
the
bass.
band?
I played bass.
Oh, really?
And I told him I played bass, and I fucking knew nothing about bass. You know, like the only song we played 2 songs, and the one song was Matchbox 20.
Yeah.
I want to push you around.
Yeah.
It was like all I did was hit like I don't even know fucking notes.
You
man.
really were like didn't know.
No,
how to play
nothing,
at all?
nothing. And they even said before the show like maybe we should turn Les's amp down a little.
Like, off.
Yeah, they had me up like just only 1 bar on the fucking amp.
Yeah.
And I was like, boom, boom. I only played like 1 or 2 notes the whole time. Boom, 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 boom. That's all we did, and I was fucking rock
Did
star.
your band members then say like, "Hey, bro, you kind of suck"?
Yeah, but this is the thing in high school, which is
Yeah.
funny. I'm not saying that I'm the coolest fucking guy in the world.
Oh, yeah.
But in school, like I was a jock, and like
Yeah.
I dated like the hot girl,
Oh,
and
okay.
all stuff. So I had a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And then like we had.
So you were popular and they wanted you
Yeah,
to
I don't know if that was it, but I'm thinking
Yeah.
back, like I was useless, so there's no other reason why I would be in the band.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that maybe that's why I snuck my way in.
Oh.
But because I know we're so famous and we bought this house, like if they ever tune into this,
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, "You're a fucking liar. We just liked you and you're an asshole." But I don't understand. But if you guys ever tune in, I'm sorry, but I don't know why the fuck you had me in that fucking band. But I fucking played the shit out of those 1 notes.
Oh yeah.
Boom, boom. You see me sing karaoke with you
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I'm like, like I don't want to fucking do shit, man. Yeah, we named our band Salty Goodness.
Do you still have your bass?
I never had a bass.
Oh,
I
you
didn't
just
know what
used somebody
fucking
else's?
Yeah,
Oh.
I used the fucking music teachers.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't have an amp. I had shit. I had
So you guys
nothing.
didn't even have practices.
Oh, we had practices.
Oh yeah.
We used the music. We had touch
Yeah.
practice. All of them had their own shit.
Yeah.
They just like subbed me in. I'd show up. It was like a sacrifice, not a human sacrifice,
Yeah.
a musical sacrifice. And I just show up like at low strap because I watched a little ZZ Top. But they're like no less.
Yeah.
No double whammy and that shit. Just doom, boom, beep,
Just keep
boom,
it,
boom.
keep it simple, Les. Keep it simple.
keep it
Don't
real
go-
simple.
Don't go too far. Don't go too
Yeah.
off.
And that's what I've been jealous of people because I've never had any musical talent. I have a harmonica,
Mm-hmm.
and I just watch these videos. And I'm like, I'm like, yeah, fuck, sounds great.
Yeah.
I was like, go to fucking bed.
Yeah. Do you know how to play the harmonica?
No,
No.
no, and I practice a lot. But like, you give me like a fucking sport to play,
Yeah.
I'll learn it in 2 seconds. I'll be good at it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm fucking fat as fuck, but I'll fucking learn everything and I'll be good at it. Is there any secrets going on?
Or Vic.
Vic,
Just
is there a picture of his name?
Oh, not this time.
Oh, weird for you. Weird for you. But yeah, so like, that's I don't know why I went into that, but I did. So whatever. Is there? Do you think? Hey, can anyone do us a favor? If there's people watching. Sorry to bother you guys. I know we're too entertaining, but can you guys just type 1 or something saying that you can hear us? Because I have a feeling that our audio is off.
I think they can hear us. Yeah, people haven't.
I haven't complained.
No.
Like there's so many viewers.
Yeah.
I think
The only complaint is just looking at the camera. That was our.
look at the camera. Why would we look at the camera
Because
for?
we're looking away from
We're,
the screen. Because we're talking to them, right?
sorry. Oh, so look right at them.
Or yeah, so that if we're talking, not to look so much at the screen, I guess.
Well, you guys haven't bought us a new camera yet. We spent all the money on the fucking house. Like, can you guys fucking?
We're still using a Nokia phone camera here.
Yeah. Like, if you want to see the camera, we'll put a video on the camera of the camera. You guys haven't got us yet. Like, can you guys fucking help us out? We're broke as a joke.
Yeah.
Like, look at my cupboards.
Yeah.
Our cupboards.
Our cupboards.
I'm ready to take ownership for them all. We own all this shit together. Well, yeah. So what did I do this week? You know what happened this week, which you do not give a shit about?
What?
Golf started.
I thought didn't they just have the Masters?
No, I'm talking about like for Manitoba. Like all the
Oh,
courses just
yeah.
open. So I was golfing all
Cool.
day today.
Cool story, bro.
What's that? It's like base for me.
Yeah, you're super into golfer.
Oh, I love golf.
What do you think about Tiger winning?
Tiger winning the Masters, you know what's amazing about Tiger winning the Masters? It's not the fact that he won the Masters, it's
Yeah.
the fact that he went out the way he did with banging all the Scandinavian women and like just cheating on his wife. I'm not sure cheating on the wife.
Yeah.
But he just did the most craziest shit ever.
Well, I mean, you gotta.
You gotta kinda
Well,
understand.
when you think of like a sports star, a super sports
Any-
star, like is that something new? You know, like
No, Kobe.
right? Kobe cheated on his wife.
Hey,
Right.
what about Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I'm sure he has.
No, he has.
Oh
He
yeah.
got caught. He slept
Oh.
with his maid.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Slept with his
I remember
maid.
that now, yeah.
And that guy's conquered the universe. That guy moved from fucking
Well,
like.
you kind of that's one of those things where you kind of expect almost like it's not a surprise, you
No,
know?
it's normal shit.
Yeah. So I don't know
think.
why. I don't know why. I don't know why.
I
Tiger
don't know why
got
people like
so
regular
much
people
slack.
like us can judge him.
Yeah. Like I don't
We're
know how
not
he got
allowed.
so much slack from.
Yeah.
You know, like he's. You think about Tiger Woods, if he wasn't you know, like a fucking superstar golfer guy, you think he would have gotten his wife that he's married to? You know, the one, right? She's like a supermodel,
for
right?
the women.
Yeah.
Yes, it was all love.
Yeah, it
It was all
right?
love.
You know,
He's just a
so-
kind human.
Yeah.
It was nothing about the money or the fucking
Yeah.
Nike contract or anything to do with anything else.
Yeah.
It's because they fell in
Because
love.
they love, yeah,
mutually.
love, yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, you're in that kind of a marriage. There's gotta be. She's gotta be like a total bitch. You know what I mean? And of course she's gonna go.
He's gonna do what the fuck he
Yeah,
wants.
after, right?
You know what the funny thing is, like, so everyone knows, we rented a room for my wife here in our new house. But this is what I want to say: if you're a multi-gazillionaire, like the guy that owns Amazon,
Yeah.
or Tiger Woods, that's a whole new caliber of life.
Yeah.
Like nobody in the world can judge him unless you're just as equally rich
Yeah.
as him. Like, you don't understand. Like when you finish 18 holes of golf.
Yeah.
And you're wearing your red shirt tucked in, and
Yeah.
all you did is hit a couple fucking balls,
Balls in,
40,
yeah.
40 above.
Yeah.
He didn't have a couple drinks, but he wanted to.
Yeah.
And he gets off, and then he goes to a bar, and all these girls want to sleep with him.
Yeah. Because they know who he is and they know he's loaded.
I know.
Right,
You know,
so, yeah.
it would be more amazing if he didn't sleep with them.
It would be more, yeah.
Actually, you know what? That would be the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah.
If all these girls came up and said, I tried,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't sleep with me, and that's it. That'd be weird. I
Well,
think-
because you gotta know, right? At some point, I guess it depends on if you like met your wife prior to being super rich,
I don't know.
right? And then you got super rich, right? And because if you're rich and you didn't have a wife, and then you have all these women on you, and then you know what I mean? The difference is,
Yeah, no, I know what you
right?
mean. I
Like,
get your
but
point.
if you like say you and Nicole all of a sudden became, you know, billionaires, right? It doesn't mean that you're gonna go strip clubs and
No. No, I don't know. Well, let's. Like,
I mean, you can
like-
do that now, right?
I-
It's not like you can't do that now. Like we're, you know what I mean?
No, I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying I think about this sometimes, like, and maybe that's not right. But think about like, okay, so tomorrow I buy a lot of Max ticket,
Yeah,
and tomorrow, like, say it's Thursday, and I wake up Friday or Friday, I wake up Saturday,
Mm-hmm. yeah,
and I'm a $60 million heir.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I am.
yeah.
Like I love my wife,
Mhm.
but there would be like a couple seconds that comes across my mind where I'm like, oh, do I tell her? Or do I wait a little bit and then tell her?
Yeah.
Or do I like
Well,
figure
you're gonna have to tell her anyway at some point, right?
or I just get a divorce
And then
and then not tell her?
Not tell her?
No, I'm just joking. But you know what I mean? It's just like I don't know about like these super athletes that become rich and have girlfriends before, or athletes that have girlfriends after. I'm sure it's a little different.
Well, I mean, with those guys though, they're like in like the sports world, right?
They're
They
limelight.
party. They party. They go to like clubs. You know what I mean? Things
Do
like
what
that.
the fuck
But,
they
like,
want.
yeah, but if you're like a normal guy that gets rich, like if I was say tomorrow I win the lotto and it's $60 million, I'm not going clubbing. I'm traveling, doing shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to party. Well, I'm going to party, but not like You know, I'm not.
Not Tiger Woods
Yeah,
money.
I'm not going to Vegas and going to the best clubs and hanging out with DJs and.
So this is the
and
question.
Movie stars
This is the
and shit
question.
like
So
that,
you
right?
you think it's not the money that fucks these guys over, it's the fame.
It's the fame and the limelight. Yeah, yeah. It's just like,
The whole process of becoming famous and then
and
getting
then having
money.
people kiss your ass. And then making you, putting
Feel
you on a
invincible.
pedestal, right? And you think that you can do whatever the fuck you want.
That's interesting.
You know, suddenly you're surrounded with all these people who are like, oh, whatever you say, they're like, oh, that's a great idea. Oh yeah, sure, yeah, you know, because they want your money. They want to be around somebody who has money, and they're hoping they're gonna get some of your shit.
I think that's where it gets fucked up, right? Because now, what do you think? Do you think people are actually your friend? You know, when you get famous like that, like a Joe Rogan famous
Yeah.
or Tiger Woods famous or all these guys, do you
Yeah.
think they're being their friend because of the fame?
I mean, it depends on like if you Joe Rogan, for example, a lot of his friends, his circle of friends, they were friends with him prior to him being
He's lucky.
as big as he is.
He's lucky.
Well, I mean,
That's a bad example.
because he like did like the comedy circuit, right? So he paid his dues in the comedy circuit. So, but that's where he met a lot of
You know what the funny
other
thing,
comedians, right?
the funny thing is that I understand why like a lot of like really wealthy people have a hard time hanging out with like normal people.
Yeah.
Like not like
Yeah.
that sounds bad, but like normal
No, it's
people
true, though.
like
It's
us, you know
true,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
weird, like super rich people, like
Yeah.
multimillionaires,
Yeah.
they will never sit down
Yeah.
and do a podcast with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
But maybe now because we're getting pretty good now.
Yeah.
busy,
Now we're getting more.
and they're getting
popular,
nervous.
you know?
They're
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
nervous.
yeah.
But let's say it like now today, they won't sit down with us and like talk to us one on one.
Yeah. I mean,
Not because they're smarter, not because they know more or better,
Yeah.
just because it's just like they feel or they think or maybe they do. They think that like maybe we can't see the same platform as them for money wise.
Well,
I don't know, but it's weird.
It's that too, but it's also like they're people who are famous or rich and stuff like that. They have like their schedules are always, you know what I mean? They're pre-planned. So like, why would they
that's a
come?
good
Why
point.
would they come on our channel when that would be like?
Not even our channel,
I-
but I mean like
yeah.
hang out with normal people.
Oh, okay. I mean, there's people that have like they
Normal
still hang
friends?
out with their friends from.
You think so?
Prior to them being famous. Oh yeah, that's when you have like you ever see the show Entourage, right?
Yeah.
Right? That's the same. They all have entourages. Everybody has their own. Look at the rappers. You
Like
think
their
why do you
buddies.
think rappers have 10 guys following him everywhere? It's because they're all dudes from
They're-
from
they're where they
that
grew
he
up and
brought
stuff.
with him, right? So
But like for example, we put someone like well, I don't know, someone big. Let's go with what's his name? George Clooney is his name?
George Clooney, yeah.
George Clooney.
Yeah.
Always been around Hollywood. Always been a
Yeah.
star. You know what I mean? Do you think he hangs out with like normal, regular, no-name people?
I'm sure he has some friends that like once you become like a big Hollywood star, you're like there's such
committed.
you're committed to like making a movie takes a year. You
That's
know
it,
what I mean? So
That's it though. That's not that long.
it's not that long, but I mean, at the same time, when you go on your break, now you're going on vacation, or you're going to go.
You're getting the fuck away from all the other shit.
Yeah. So you might bring your friend with you. You might fly them down.
You don't
to
ever
come hang
think-
out. You know.
Like you don't think that they're nervous hanging around regular people, like that they're gonna like take a video of like, like for example, you're George Clooney.
Yeah.
You're better looking, by the
Yeah.
way. But you're George Clooney, and we're sitting around drinking, and you spill a beer on your thing, and I get a video of it.
hmm
You don't think that comes across your mind as like, I don't want to hang out with regular people to try to milk me for money, or try to frame me,
I mean,
or try to like put me in a bad spot?
I think it depends on the situation, right? It depends on.
I think it does.
who
I think it comes
is.
down lots.
You know, there's a.
I think that they don't hang out with people because of that reason.
I think a lot of it is too is. It's boring for them, right?
It definitely is
Right,
super
you know?
boring because
Yeah.
anything that's fun,
Like if it's not
they
a
have to pay
family
for it.
thing, if it's not a family thing that they're with their family, then their time they have to come be selective of who they hang out with. You know what I mean? Like if they were just saying like we had a friend who was
I
like,
wish that's exactly
see
what it was.
like if we had a friend who was a huge movie star right now and we're like, hey bro, come over, come hang out and have some drinks.
I think he would.
He wouldn't because it's like
He wouldn't be staying with his family either.
yeah. Well, I mean a lot of stars will go like. They still go to like family functions and stuff.
Oh,
like
they
that.
definitely go to a lot of family functions, but I mean, like, okay, so I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm
Yeah.
just giving another opinion. So you have a superstar that on a Wednesday night can fly to Chicago and
Yeah,
party,
yeah.
whatever, fly anywhere they want,
Yeah.
party, or they could fly to Winnipeg and hang out with his buddies they grew up with,
Mhm.
like Justin Bieber's from Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
think he comes back to Winnipeg?
I think he'll from time to time will come, but I mean it's far and few between, right?
That's
It's
what I mean, though.
Yeah, because you can't like just because. I think a lot of times, I feel like these big superstars. There's times where they just want to be alone. They don't want.
I agree with that. I think
They
they're
just
tired and
wanna-
sick and tired.
Tired of people flashing cameras. Tired of taking selfies and
That'd be fucking
signing
annoying.
autographs and like if you can't like eat at a restaurant or without somebody coming up and being like hey, love you, la, la, la.
I watched this one thing. What's that guy's name? I know he's a soccer, like a football, but a European football, like soccer player. Ronaldo or
Ronaldo, yeah.
someone Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
They had a I don't know if it was on Twitter or on YouTube, but they had a like a small video of his phone when he went online when he was having coffee in the
I think I
morning.
remember that. Yeah,
He went online and he put his phone down and then videoed his phone.
yeah.
And honestly, on whatever message system it was, his phone literally for 15 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever the video length was, just rotated
Went off,
with
yeah.
people just like, and he's just like laughing when he's looking at it, like, look
Yeah.
at this, and it's just non-stop.
Oh yeah.
But like, okay, so now that's social media, which is over the top,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
But imagine being someone in that level of superstardom or someone.
I don't have to imagine though, bro.
Well, we're lucky because now we're there.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like for regular people, no, I'm joking. But it's funny that like that would be tough. That would be
Oh, yeah.
harder than a full-time job.
Yeah.
That is you're committed for a full
Well,
life job.
yeah, you have to get like you. That's the thing. You trade your whole life for that fame, right? That you're trading. It's like that's why what's his name, Dave Chappelle. That's why he disappeared.
That's right.
Because he didn't like that. He couldn't go anywhere. He didn't want his kids to be like surrounded by paparazzi all the time, and he didn't want because he was about to blow up. Like he was already big, but he was gonna blow up into like superstardom. Fame, right? So
Yeah.
That's why.
Well, that's what it is.
He didn't want that, right? So.
It's tough. Like and to be, I don't know. I think that it would be torturous to be that way. To be honest, to be super famous like that. I don't know. It's like you said. It's
Well,
a,
I mean, it
it's a
depends.
life
Like you're
sacrifice.
trading. When you're super famous like that, there's benefits. You're getting lots of money. You're getting,
It's a benefit, but it's a definitely
all
a
the
trade-off.
ladies you want. All the like, you're living like royalty, right? Like that's the closest thing to actually being royalty.
But I think royalty would be better
Well,
because there's that line, right? Like when you get to that stage where you're like, you're so like, for example, the Queen and the royal family.
Yeah.
You don't see Prince William and Prince Charles, like they're famous, but you don't see them plastered all over like social media all the time.
because they have very strict guidelines.
Right.
Like, they cannot. You can't just
But
do whatever you want. Right?
I also think that the media companies and like all that stuff respect them more. We actually bought dogs too, but they respect them more. They don't blow their system up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I heard a story that like it made the media here that Prince William, I guess, is the one
I
that's
think
covered.
yeah, Prince William.
That was in Brandon, and supposedly like he was out partying in Brandon for like
Winnipeg, Brand Manitoba.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
when he came through because they had to come through.
Yeah.
The Queen comes through every year, whatever.
Yeah.
So he was coming through some kind of parade thing, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was in Brandon and partied,
Yeah.
and then it came out like a little bit that he partied with some chick.
Yeah.
This is back before he was married and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? But he partied with some chick, and it started getting out in Manitoba.
Yeah.
But it never reached social media or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it was a Manitoba story. I don't know, but it's just like. If that was like a Tiger Woods story
Yeah.
or another famous person, I think that would have spread like wildfire.
Well, I think a lot of it too is that it's also because they have high security.
Yeah,
they're
people
like
respect
they're like a it's not even respect. It's just like they're like royalty, so they have like agents. If you had some kind of video or something
But I think that everyone
that would on Prince William,
you die.
they'd come. Somebody would be knocking.
You
on
fucking
your,
died.
Somebody would be
buddy.
knocking on your door.
You'd
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
die.
you know.
You'd be fucking dead
Yeah.
if you had a video like that.
Yeah.
You'd be dead. Which I don't really want a video of that.
Yeah.
I'd be scared to have it. I'd delete
You
it.
try to sell
I'd be
it.
like, fuck
or-
that, I
yeah,
don't want it.
Yeah. They have people listening on what what's happening, and so.
It's true. I don't know. But that's a different thing. It's like, and then the funny thing too, I always like talk about this is that why the fuck do we even have a monarchy still?
That's a good
It's
question.
a weird fucking thing if you think
I
about
think
it.
it's just they've just held on to power, right?
But they don't have no power.
So that's so far as we know, right? Like that's part of sometimes having power is
Is not having-
not having the power, right? It's like going back to Game of Thrones. The
Dude,
richest.
I'm just gonna portrait you.
Okay, going back to Game of Thrones, the richest guy in all of the Seven Kingdoms, right?
Yeah.
He is not the king, right?
But he has all the money.
But he's got the rich because his kingdom that his people are from, they have a lot of gold mines.
Oh.
Okay, so that's what makes him the richest guy in the Seven Kingdoms. But anyways,
funny.
he funds what he does is he funds his army helps put whoever into the throne,
That's interesting.
right? So the person whoever he funds becomes the king of all kings, right? So and there's one scene where they're like somebody was talking to him and then they're like, you know, you're the top advisor. You're the top advisor to the most powerful man in all the Seven Kingdoms, right?
Interesting.
And then he goes, "You're a fool if you think that he's the most powerful man in all of the Seven Kingdoms."
That's interesting.
Right? So he's like a background guy, but he's the puppet master. He's the one that's controlling, putting everybody into power. Whatever but he's not the guy.
In power, actually.
Yeah, he's not the king, but he's.
So you're basically that's a good point. So maybe maybe the monarchy owns a lot of.
Well, they own like the British Parliament, right? So what they do is they in the background they tell them what to
They
do,
fuck all.
and if shit happens, they're not the ones to be blamed because it's the Parliament that right, the Prime Minister of.
But you know how many people are under still the like English like I guess you call it the empire.
Yeah.
Like how many countries still follow that?
Well, look at Canada. We still have the Queen
We
on
still
our
have-
money.
we have money.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. Like
Yeah,
not
but
even the Queen. I think there's still like something like 30 something countries in the world that follow that same monarchy.
Mhm. Do you think it's not by accident that there's money printed with
But that's
with
what
the
I mean.
Queen on the.
But maybe
on
it's
the-
too expensive to change.
No, it's just paper, right? It's just paper. It's not
It's not
just
just
too
paper.
expensive. It's what it is they control all the banks, right? Now we're talking.
But they
now we're
don't-
getting
they don't, though.
conspiracy theories, right?
Conspiracies are good
Yeah.
though. Tune in. But that's not a conspiracy theory. That's a fact.
The European Union, right? They own,
The European Union is different though. The
they
European
own
Union.
all the banks, right?
They don't own the banks.
Huh?
The
If
European-
I think if you trace all the banks, even all the banks in Canada, all the banks in the U.S., they're funded by a bank in
No,
like, the big bank.
No,
in,
I understand who owns it. There's actually like, this is funny because we wanted to get into this conversation before,
Yeah.
and we are getting a little conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
but there is like a certain situation, and there is like a couple families. There's like 9 bloodline families that actually like realistically, if you do the research, own most of the world.
Yeah.
So the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, you actually have like somewhere the Obama line and somewhere like this, and
yeah.
actually the Bush line, and
Yeah.
like they have some kind of tie and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the Rockefellers, the Rothschild, I think it's the Rothschilds
Rothschild, yeah.
that own all the banks.
Yeah.
They own all the money in the world.
Yeah.
You don't see these fucks in the media.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't see them in the media.
Well, because they have control. They control the media. They own the
They
media.
own everything. They own the media.
They literally
They own
the media.
everything.
Yeah, they actually. That's why if you look at,
Isn't that fucked?
there's a chart. Have you ever seen that chart? It's like every
Yes,
company,
I've seen that.
right?
I've seen that.
And then it all like even weapons, everything,
Everything.
from Coca-Cola to
Every
to
business.
people that make missiles. They all
back to
branch
these
down
5
to like
like
these
3 or
5.
4
Yeah,
families.
yeah.
It's
So,
and it's funny
it's
because
insane.
most people can't wrap their head around that, but that's a fact.
Yeah.
Now this is where it gets twisted. Okay, so I was watching that. I don't know if we want to go here or not, but this is where we're talking. So it's
Yeah.
fun. So I was watching that podcast with that Graham Hancock.
Yeah.
Is it Graham Hancock with Joe Rogan? Was last
I
week.
think Graham Hancock. Yeah.
So he has this theory, this, whatever, that I was thinking about this for like years before I watched Joe Rogan's that because like I've thought about my dad's always been a guy that thought about conspiracy theories or like UFOs or about
Yeah,
aliens
yeah.
and stuff, and I was always a believer.
Yeah.
I was always a believer that there's something more to us. You know what I mean? Like if we're a world, there's something more. There's something weird that there's a fucking pyramid in Egypt
Yeah.
that no one wakes up in the morning and goes, "What the fuck? This happened
Yeah.
5,000 years ago,
Yeah.
and we're building Trump Towers today, barely, and these fucks built this thing 5,000 years ago."
Yeah.
Like no one wakes up and goes like, "How the fuck did you cut this block?
Yeah.
Like how did you do this?"
Yeah.
That's
Have
weird.
you seen that? You've seen there's a guy made a documentary, ancient secrets revealed or something like that, and they talk about how they cut the.
I've seen all that shit.
Yeah.
But it's not believable. Like if they actually physically cut them and hauled
Yeah.
them and shit, and they put
Yeah.
them on logs, and they roll them there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So now when you go there, let's explain the Samaritan times,
Yeah.
which is another like 5,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Where they have like tablets.
Yeah.
Where they fucking carved out on the tablets backwards, or they carved out like writing about the planets, and they have the exact amount of planets on the tablet.
Yeah.
When we have just figured this out since 1965 or 1950,
Yeah.
when we had Pluto,
Yeah.
and they have all the planets in
Yeah.
exact orbit,
Yeah.
size wise,
Yeah.
and then we just figured this out.
Yeah.
So that's always been a question in my mind. Like, so how is this possible that we are just figuring this out, but ancient civilizations
Yeah.
had this? Because if you're talking about evolution, evolution means we go forward
Yeah.
and better.
Well, it's also like I don't think we know as much as we think we know. Like as far as like we have a timeline of when the universe was created and how long Earth has been around, right? And then, but what we don't know is there could have been.
No, that could have been. There has been.
There. Okay, let's say there has been another civilization who are just as advanced as we are.
Oh, I thought.
Right?
Sorry, I didn't make that
Right,
up.
yeah,
But
you know, like
maybe
yeah,
we don't know that. But
as advanced as we are and had the same technology as we did, but they got wiped out because of like the same shit as like the dinosaurs. But now it was so long ago that
right.
there's no remnants of it. Everything's decayed to like
that's what I think.
dust in the ground. You know,
This is my belief.
Yeah,
that's what I was watching with the Joe Rogan thing. Is I've never heard another. He calls himself a reporter or whatever the fuck he is, but he reports on this stuff, and that's what I was totally agree on because I've been thinking this for a long time. It's like there's been so many civilizations that like just like get to a certain point and they make it, and then all of a sudden gone.
Yeah.
And then like there's another one, and then they disappear.
Yeah.
And it's over like this period of time, and like I truly believe that what happens is something like that. Like a civilization gets to a certain point, and maybe their ideas and maybe their mindset of their goals is not capitalism, or job orientated, or trying to be rich.
Yeah.
Maybe the Egyptians or the Samaritans were more focused on mind and like where can we go with this, and hallucinogens, like or like DMT stuff and all that stuff. Maybe they were focused on that, the spiritual stuff.
They're always trying to reach God in some way, right? That was their goal, kind of. Look at the Mayans, you know. Everything was to please the gods. Everything was like that's why
it wasn't money.
The pyramids were built and stuff like that. Well, because it was like money wasn't really a factor. Either you were royalty or you weren't.
Yeah, that's right.
There was no real like capitalism back in those days. I mean, there was like traders and markets and stuff like that, but nobody either like.
There's a hierarchy.
Yeah, if you're the king, you're the king. That's it.
Right. And you did what the king said, and that was okay.
Yeah, and I could come and be like, yeah, you know what? Thanks for your farm. Yeah, your wife. She's now my servant now. Yeah,
she's mine, and thank you very much.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean is that like, that's kind of what I mean. It's funny watching that Graham Hancock thing is like, he kind of sort of because if you think of it logically. When you have all this stuff on the earth, you have all these facts, you have all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, if you put it in perspective of the time frame, you have 5,000 years, you have pyramids. Before that, you have these cities built, and you have all this stuff, and you have all this art and writing.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to the time frame of what we've been told. It doesn't make sense. And we went backwards then. So it means that something's reset Earth. Something's come in and just catastrophically like destroyed stuff, and then you have to rebuild.
Yeah.
And rebuilt, and then like a reset every so many years.
Yeah.
So what I've been thinking is that, so you have these families today that are like uber rich and run all the banks and have this new like way of running the world.
Yeah.
It's like I think that bloodline is the one that survived the last catastrophic disaster.
Oh yeah.
So they had like some kind of intel,
Mhm.
how they worked it before, and then now they like kind of had this like ideas of stuff.
Yeah.
Because you had like the Rockefeller family that like came over to the States and then started drilling for oil.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like which human being do you know that would be like, you know what? I think there's oil. Or I think there's a substance below, like 100 meters down. I'm just gonna keep drilling in this
Yeah.
spot to get this oil. That's a weird fucking thing to do.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it is there's some people, you know, it's a talent. You know what I mean? It's like some people are really good at guitar. Some people are good at sports. Some people are really good at making money.
Some people,
are
but
really
they have
good,
to
you know?
find it.
Yeah, but I mean, they have people that you know they hire people to find it for them. You know what I mean? They're like
Today, but
Yeah.
back then when he found it though, explain that.
well back
They
then.
didn't have tools. They didn't know what the fuck this
Well,
was. This
I
is
mean-
the first thing ever.
Back then they would just sometimes they would just be by accident. Sometimes, you know, they would just put two and two together. Like they have like a formula to how to find it. Right? You know, it's like how did they know where to dig for gold? You know what I mean? Like back in the day,
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Like same with the Amazon. How do you
Yeah.
know to start a website?
Yeah.
I get that, but it's just something about digging down in
Mm.
the States. Because that's what happened. The Rockefeller family, like the guy came
Mm.
over and he started to dig, and he missed a bunch of times.
Yeah.
It says it with the history documents. Like
Yeah.
he missed digging it,
Yeah.
and he just kept doing it.
Yeah.
But
Well-
like you're really committed to find something,
Yeah.
and you miss a bunch of times. Like people be looking at you. You're like imagine like you're an idiot. You don't know anything
Well, I mean,
about anything.
I think a lot of it is too is like you have a relative idea of, you know, like
Why do you know that though? You should
because
know that.
from
what?
from experience, you know.
But you know what? This guy just born as a human being.
Well,
He doesn't
no,
know
well, that's
anything.
no, that's I don't think so. I think he had
That
he had to have known,
He
you know,
must
you-
have survived something to know that.
well, that's the thing. He
His
got
family-
knowledge from
his family background or
from,
something.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
Must
they
have.
knew, like, okay, son, you go here. You gotta
Must
look.
have.
You have to look. There has to be like a mountain with this kind of
Yes.
rock, and then in between that there has to be a forest.
Yes.
And then, so you drill in between that mountain and that
Exactly.
forest.
I totally agree with
Yeah,
that.
You know, that's what. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like this guy had some kind of ancient knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
His family bloodline had some kind of history thing
Oh, yeah.
written or something.
Oh, of course, yeah.
That he was like, well, my great great grandma said that there's this liquid that can be fuel
Yeah.
or some bullshit, and then he just
Yeah.
kept drilling and drilling, and he went with it, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
he owns all the fucking oil in the world,
Yeah.
and then he's the richest guy in the world. Like, there's something about that.
Well, it's also like you think about like back in the day, like aluminum, for example,
Yeah.
was considered like only the rich man's like metal. You know what I mean? So like they would make aluminum spoons, and they would only bring it out when the special guests would come.
Yeah.
And then some fucking dude figured out how to like use alchemy, how to take two things and create aluminum. Right, so now aluminum is like the cheapest metal you can get because you can just make it. You don't have to go.
It's all
you don't
bull-
have to
it's
go
all-
like
it's all- you don't have to
drill
mine it.
for it, and you know
You don't go buying that shit.
they don't have to mine it anymore.
Go check this out. Go check this out.
Be right
My
back.
cat is locked in. Sorry, everybody, but this is important. I was wondering why the cat's meowing. Watch out. Sorry, everyone, we had to buy dogs.
His cat got trapped in the coffee table.
Yeah, well, we just bought new. We bought a new dog, a new cat.
Whatever.
How
long ago did you get those?
How did we get what?
The dogs.
Well, we bought them with the new purchase with all the likes.
Oh, oh, that's your new couch too.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's a way bigger couch than your other one, hey?
Huge.
Wow.
It's massive. It's literally the biggest fucking couch
It
ever.
looks much more comfortable than your previous couch.
Yes, and that's what I was talking about. Is the fact is that now we can both lay down at the same time.
Oh.
There's no more arguments
No
about
more
that.
arguments, yeah.
But don't worry, we have other arguments.
Oh yeah.
That one has disappeared, and we have found others.
What, you need a new bed or?
No. Now I don't lay down enough.
Oh yeah.
Now I don't lay properly.
Oh.
All the women out there, like, you know what I mean? Just let the guy be.
Just let him sit there.
Just let him live.
Big Brother in peace.
Big brother together.
Yeah.
Now I don't lay close enough.
Oh, now you're too far away.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I'm way too far away now. Way too far away.
What did you end up doing with your old one?
That's a good question. Oh, it's funny. My dad just recently bought a cabin.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you
like,
took it there?
yeah. No, I sold it to him.
Oh, okay.
Our family's different like that. We don't give shit. I'm white. Like white people, like
I mean,
everything's
you
for
can't
sale.
just give it away.
No,
right? Yeah.
white, and that's funny actually.
Yeah.
'Cause white people, we do not give shit away.
Yeah.
Like I had to buy my parents' house
Yeah.
with shit inside of it, and then my parents took the shit out of the house that I paid for. They're like, "We're gonna charge you an extra $10,000 for the stuff inside."
Yeah.
And then I went back to the house a week later, and all the stuff was gone.
They're gone.
And they're like
what? The
couches,
fridge
TVs,
and stuff?
everything.
Oh.
Yeah. And they're like, "Sucker." Gotcha. But that's normal for white people.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
But for Asians, we just don't.
You
We
don't
just don't
trust
sell to our family.
just- you give it.
Like no, not even that. If I had like a super expensive couch, right?
You don't
and I
give
bought
it?
a new one,
You still
I wouldn't give it away. No,
You
you
sell
can't,
it to someone
can't
else.
expect me to give it to you. You know what I mean? Especially if it's like expensive. You know, I would just
Yeah.
sell it to somebody else.
That's
Right,
It's not
because-
for sale. You say your family.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not for
you know,
sale.
because it would be like it's the same as like I have a car. If I buy another car, I'm not gonna give my car away
That's
to my
different.
family. No, not really. Like a couch is you have a super expensive couch, right?
No, that's different. A car is different. Car is way different. Car is way different. You know what I mean? A couch. I think that's funny actually, because the couch we bought, I was telling you, is like my wife at that time of life was like into like the expensive stuff. So our couch was like,
You guys want to be fancy?
yeah, we bought this couch
Yeah,
that was like $5-6 grand.
that's an expensive couch.
I don't remember how much it was, but it was like it was over
It
four.
was over
grand.
there.
It's
yeah.
over 4
Yeah,
grand.
it was in that range.
And like when we get a cat,
Yeah.
and then I lay on the couch too hard,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Get the fuck off the couch." I'm like,
Yeah.
"But it's a couch,"
Yeah.
and the cat sharpens
scratching and
his
shit on it,
claw-
yeah,
claws
yeah.
in it, and it's like, "Oh, what a cat!" Oh.
Every scratch is $100 off
Yeah.
the couch.
So we sold the couch for $500.
Oh wow. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was
How long did you have it though for?
4 years.
Oh, okay. That's not.
So that's cheap.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever.
$1,000 a year. It's like a
Yeah,
car.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I don't know. Whatever. We got a comfy couch now.
Looks
Fucking
comfy,
big
yeah. It's nice
pillows.
and big. Looks kind of hot though, actually. Like when you lay in there, it
sexy
gets
hot? Like sexy
no,
hot?
like you start sweating after a
Oh,
while.
yeah.
It's just like the
It's
material, right?
It's actually not. You should
No.
try it out.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. I'll,
Try it out.
where's the
man.
rest thing?
Yeah.
How's it for cuddling?
Don't worry, the couch is big. You got lots of room. If you're laying right beside her, I know there's an issue.
I know she complains that you're not close enough, so.
So you better show her what's up. You better show her what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, that Graham Hancock guy, that's what his whole philosophy is that he has proof about is that there's many different there was many different society or civilizations in the past
Yeah.
over a time frame, and that he's kind of proven it with the dinosaurs and with the different the situation where the meteor hits the ground or whatever the fuck it is, that everything resets.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that
But
makes
then even
sense.
at the same time, though, you still have to like, evolution still has to, even though, let's say, the meteor hits the Earth and it wipes us all out, we still have to grow from single-celled organisms.
Do you believe in
We still-
evolution though?
I do. I totally do. Oh yeah.
You believe in
Oh, yeah,
true
I
evolution?
Totally do. Oh, yeah.
I
100%.
don't.
I do. Why? What do you believe? We're just like created, or?
No,
Aliens
I
created
believe in
us, or-
evolution to a certain point.
Yeah.
The only explain this to me then. So if evolution exists,
Yeah.
so we were apes at one time.
A form of apes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so why are other apes not evolved as we are?
Because there are different species of apes. You know what I mean?
But evolution says that they should be getting better. Apes.
They are slowly getting better. They are slow. If you look at some of the apes, there's apes now that there's like gorillas that know sign language. There's like
Yeah, but that's-
there's like there was a video came out, it was a monkey, it was on Instagram, like scrolling through Instagram, like checking stuff out on Instagram and like looking around on Instagram and shit.
Okay.
Well, that's the thing. Like
Okay.
like our species were just more like if you think about it, back in the day there was two different types of cavemen, right? There was like the Neanderthals
Yeah.
and the Cro-Magnon, right?
Yeah.
And then I can't remember,
But the Neanderthals.
but they were both alive at the same time.
Yes.
Right? So, but one species was more evolved.
One killed the other one
and
out.
the other
though.
one out, yeah, because and that's the same thing as the monkeys.
That's evolution for
Right,
sure.
yeah,
That's
so
evolution for sure.
One
But
learned how to make tools. One learned how to make spears and arrows and shit. The other one was still eating fucking plants and you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
And that's the
not.
thing. It's not where the monkeys are. There's just different kinds of you know, it's monkeys. We're just the most evolved of the monkey, you know, species, right? Like there's just different levels of them. It depends on like it also depends on, you know, there's monkeys that learn how to use tools, right? They figured out how to pick up a rock to break a nut so they can get the meat inside, you know, like
Yeah.
and that's just like we're just way more evolved than the other monkeys. You know what I mean? It's the same as like when the Spaniards conquered the Mayans.
That's a different kind of evolution.
No, it
We're-
isn't. It
yeah,
isn't. How
it
is it
is.
different though?
It's
Because
way different.
they evolved into using
Someone help me out here.
armor and swords and then
But that's
while the
that's
Mayans
different
were
because
still
they were
using
already smart enough to develop this stuff to have enough brain capacity to think of what you need to go into battle.
yeah
I'm talking about like evolution being like Nathan, like what's the word? Nathan.
Neanderthal.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Neanderthals. That even is almost too far advanced. I think Neanderthals were part of evolution, but I think even before then, I don't know. I'm not believing
what's
that.
the difference of that and us? Let's say if we go into some Amazonian tribe that has never been contacted by, you know,
It's way different.
civilization.
Way different.
Their brain capacity is not the same as ours. Do you know what I mean? They're not like they're different. They're not different.
No, but you don't,
species
you, don't,
than we
you
are.
don't even have to go that far back. You can even compare us to China.
Yeah.
Or compare us to some place in Africa. Like our mentality and our species in North America for evolution, for marketing and for sales and for capitalism is way far more advanced than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
I've traveled quite a bit and I've noticed that.
Yeah.
There's no comparison.
Yeah.
But that's the evolution of a Homo sapien.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
us, right?
Yeah.
The problem is where I lose thing is that to get to a place where
Neanderthals.
Neanderthal.
Yeah,
You guys want to
Neanderthals.
drink this? Neanderthal, whatever the
Neanderthals.
fuck. What's the word?
Neanderthals.
Those people
Yeah.
are like making fires and doing all that stuff. I think that there has been. This might sound crazy to you. I think there's been some kind of genetic manipulation that happened in
Yeah.
history.
Well, of course, that's what I'm saying. Like, because let's say, you know, like the reason why, going back to your question, there's like, why are the other monkeys haven't evolved is because they haven't been put through the same situations as our monkey ancestors were put through. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they lived in the jungle. They didn't need to evolve because they were already like, you know, like a gorilla in the jungle. They don't have any enemies, so there's no reason for them to evolve or become anything more than what they are. You know what I'm saying? Because they.
But then why did they?
What do you mean?
So why did you're basically going against your own
do you mean?
theory? So why did evolution happen then? If they had nothing to evolve against, why would they?
Well, I mean, to a certain point, like they had to evolve to the point where to become the top dog of the, you know, like a silverback gorilla is the top dog of the jungle. There's nobody gonna kill him or.
But a lion is the top cat of the Africa, and they're not fucking walking around talking.
Well, that's because they're a different species.
So it's.
But I mean, like if you think about like, for example, a lion or let's just say a dog, for example. Say
Yeah.
a wolf compared to a highly trained husky or a German shepherd that's like super smart, super trained, is because they've been evolved through.
See, I will support
situations,
you
know what
in
I
that
mean?
spot
Yeah.
because I know all dogs, for example, how they evolved was that they came. For example, let's talk about a wolf situation.
Yeah.
Came around a campfire, a guy fed them.
Yeah.
And then it
And
slowly
trained
them
yeah.
to be, and this is easier than hunting, being a hunter gatherer and killing and doing.
Yeah.
So they became domesticated.
Yeah.
But I just find it hard to believe with the evolution of human beings that we evolved from like a monkey, and we're the only monkey that made it.
We have
Because-
no other monkeys that fucking made it.
Because
And we all look different, but we all have monkeys.
well, because there's different levels of.
Oh, maybe
each,
that's supposed to
you know
be-
what I'm saying? Like each species has different kinds of the same species. You know, like you know, ants. They have like
Yeah, but ants are getting better.
100, but some ants have evolved to.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
You're
Some
right
ants
again.
have evolved to
That's the funny
float on
thing.
water. Some
You're
have
right.
evolved
You're right.
to, you know.
That's funny. That's the
You know what
funny
I mean?
thing. Is
There's
actually
different types of evolution, right? Not just intelligence. It could also be just for survival.
Adaptation.
Yeah.
Adaptation.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like back in the day when the cavemen, they were like nomads. They had to travel to get food, like you know, until
They survived.
until they figured out how to farm. Now they didn't have to travel. Now they could stay in one spot and grow their own food.
I just find it hard to believe that fucking some of these situations in life, like obviously they happen and no one really knows the answer to it. But like I find it hard to believe for one, like agriculture or having fire
Yeah.
and having having different situations. Like
Well, some of it is
it's
just
a rat. How the fuck do you?
some of
figure
it's
that
just
shit out?
luck. Some of it and some
That's
of it is
super
also
lucky, dude.
some of it is also.
How do you fucking rub two sticks together? That's what they taught you. The people sat there
I
and
can't
you
remember.
rub two
They
sticks together.
did explain how man discovered fire, but I can't remember. I did watch a documentary on how.
Well, there's that one African movie.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
They figured, you know, if you or like they figured that
Maybe someone knows.
yeah they figured that like if you create friction that makes fire. You know.
That's weird though.
If you think about it, and it's just not only if you think about it, fire has been created by different cultures in different parts of the world. Like nobody, like you think of like the Hawaiian people, the tribal Hawaiians,
That's
the
a-
tribal, they all figured out how to make
That's a
fire.
good question, though.
But that's because somebody was able to like
But did
critical
someone,
thinking.
Did someone give them this advice?
That's, I mean,
Do you think that
I think they
possibly
it's a
something-
discovery. It's a
See,
discovery.
I beat around the bush a little bit. Where I'm going with this, I beat around the bush. I used to be a firm believer that there was some kind of influence on
Mhm.
Earth from like another planet.
Yeah.
But after we get smarter, after evolution
Mhm.
comes by and there's smarter people and there's smarter situations,
Yeah.
and you start understanding the chances that there's another planet close to us that is like that they can actually travel here.
Mhm.
Like to our understanding that the speed of light and traveling
Mhm.
through to the other planet, the closest planet in our they call it the Goldilocks zone
Yeah.
of another star
Mhm.
is something like 50 or like over
Something crazy, yeah.
50,000 light years
Yeah,
away, which is
yeah.
the closest one they
Yeah.
figured out.
Yeah.
And how they do this is basically they have a camera that like a big telescope that basically has a projector that basically open lens. It sits there, and what happens is they watch a star, and when that star goes dark for a split second,
Yeah.
they realize there's a planet that are going
That's
around
yeah.
that's going around it.
Yeah.
So then they by the amount of time it takes to go around, they can
Yeah.
tell the distance from that star.
Yeah.
So now they can determine how far away the star is compared to Earth and the Sun to make it the Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
The closest one is like super fucking
Yeah.
far away. They said it would take fucking a crazy amount of time unless there's some other way of traveling through space. It's impossible that this is even a possibility.
Yeah.
But if something in the past and we've evolved over and over and over again has manipulated or passed on knowledge over time is more believable or you know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's now we're getting to like speculation, conspiracy theory, right?
Well,
that's what I mean.
speculation.
Like that's what I was saying. Going back to like,
But evolution,
Why?
I
Like,
don't
you're
believe in
like,
evolution.
what? Like the monkeys that you're talking. Like,
I don't believe
like
in
your
that.
question back to like why did we evolve and the other monkeys didn't? Is maybe that's what happened. Is we were given like
Some knowledge.
or even it doesn't even have to be knowledge. It could be like we had better food to eat. Our brains developed more. We grew. You know, like monkeys are like if you eat only one specific thing, you know, bananas or whatever. They're only eating bananas. While meanwhile, me and you, the monkeys on the on the other continent, we're hunting, killing
We're
meat.
eating
We're
steak.
getting meat. We're getting steak. Right? We're killing animals. You know, we're making tools and shit like that, and then that's getting passed on to our next. Meanwhile, the monkeys are still eating bananas and picking their ass in the tree.
each other off.
Yeah, we're traveling, seeing different.
traveling.
Our minds are like seeing different, environments that we gotta like get used to this environment because the food here, we've killed all the animals that we could kill here, so now we gotta move to another area to kill all the animals. And then there's different animals here. now our brains gotta, and then we're getting the nutrients, and then our kids are learning.
But then we're building pyramids.
And then by that time, we're
Building
conquering
pyramids.
lower in level monkeys, and they're being now they're hunting for us, and we're sitting back and eating what they're hunting.
Yeah.
Right. And then suddenly we're like beheading them on top of pyramids to please the sun god for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Is
It's a very obviously that's the only scientific or situation that is supported
yeah.
by science, right?
Well, you can look at DNA. Right? If you look at DNA.
Where are you going?
Our DNA and monkey's DNA, there's only one difference.
But the funny thing about that one difference, so I'll talk when he goes to the bathroom. Dolce, Louis, Dolce, Louis, we're on a live podcast, Dolce. Dolce, come here. Dolce, come here. We gotta put you on the podcast. Soup's last comment was that the only situation he's saying is, well, we're only one chromosome off of from being monkeys. I don't support that we were evolved from a chimpanzee or an ape. I just don't do that. But his philosophy is that we're one chromosome off. But if you look at it scientifically, like the situation is one chromosome off from anything is like a huge fucking difference. Like a huge difference. It's a huge difference. Like we're one chromosome off from a lot of animals, not just monkeys. So when people say that, it's pretty funny because we're off a lot of different things. People used to use sparks from lighting to make fires. Okay, but how did they know? Enjoy my life. But people used to make sparks from lighting to make fires. But how did they know that? Graham Hancock. Yes, Graham Hancock is really good. We watched him lots. That's how this conversation kind of started. But not because they know we're better. That was funny too. But enjoy my life. If you are there still, people use sparks from lighting to make fires. Yes, that's how everybody. But how did they know that? That's the question. How did they know to do that? Well, Grant, yeah, he has great points. Very great points. Sorry, people on YouTube, I'm just commenting on the Twitch feed here. It's true, though. But yeah, long story short is that, I don't know. There's just way too many facts and points that go towards the situation of there's been many civilizations that lived previous to us. We all can't deny that. There's been the Mayans, they've been the Samaritans, they've been the Egyptians, they've been many, many, many of them. And they're only discovering more and more and more civilizations that have lived way before we have lived, and all these ruins that have been found and all this other stuff. And the question is, why? We can't be naive to think that why. You know what I mean? Like, they don't like it. Soup. Stop hitting my dogs. I'm calling animal control. Dolce! Why? Are you crazy? Fuck, sorry.
There's always with the ankle biters all the time.
We
man.
bought these dogs with this house, and they're crazy.
They're
These
cute dogs, but man,
They're crazy.
little dogs always bark.
Yeah, they also
Motherfuckers all
love
the time.
peanut butter.
Well, that's too mine, bro. Too mine.
I'm just saying they love peanut butter. Every dog loves peanut butter. You know what I mean? Anyway, so what you said before you left was that, like, well, there's only one chromosome off.
Yeah.
But
So we're also one
science-
chromosome off from
everything.
a banana too.
A banana. That's what I mean. It's like that doesn't make sense because that's what everyone goes to.
See,
It's like,
I wish we had an expert here who could.
I am an expert.
corroborate our.
There's no experts around. That's the best part about thinking out loud.
We're just.
We're just
saying
thinking out loud.
random shit.
But we just think about the stuff that, like, even the experts say, like that Graham Hancock person, whatever.
Yeah.
someone else commented about Grant Hancock, and he's like, yeah, that guy makes some legit points. He
I
does.
have to watch that podcast. I didn't watch it. So.
Oh, you have to. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. He talks about exactly what I'm saying. Is that the one thing that is like when you look at all the scenarios of the world, and have you ever, not to get crazy about the fucking like conspiracies and stuff, but these are like just like I've looked into a lot of scenarios. I love conspiracies, but I look into kind of stuff that are kind of factual too, that can
Yeah.
kind of line up to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
The theory about Planet X.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched that?
I think I have. I can't remember.
So-
Remind me again, what is it?
So the Planet X scenario is basically a situation where it started back in the I think it's 60s or 70s, and what happened was the way they calculated how planets went around the sun was a gravitational pull, like a mathematical scheme that basically calculated how planets worked.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, it's logically is that the sun is a big mass.
Yeah.
It's a big mass. So when objects are flying around in outer space, they kind of they gravitate to the biggest thing that's stationary.
Yeah,
or
because it has the most gravitational pull of all the objects in space. Yeah.
Right. So an object that is smaller that's flying by is going to get sucked in and then start getting pulled around this thing, right?
Yeah.
So then what happens is you have Mars, you have Earth, you have all these planets that start getting sucked in.
Yeah.
And then when you do the math and the scale to what each size of these planets are guesstimated to be,
Yeah.
the next planet has to be a certain size to be continuously going around for the next planet to go around.
Yeah.
Because they all work hand in hand.
Yeah.
So someone in the I think it's 50s or first 50s or 60s, someone said when Pluto, we were all learning about Pluto being the ninth planet.
Yeah.
There was a guy that said Pluto is not our ninth planet.
Mhm.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
And they were like, why? And
Yeah.
he said because of the mathematics, how it works, there has to be a bigger planet out there
Yeah.
to make the whole solar system work properly.
Yeah.
There has to be something bigger. Something that small does not allow this whole thing to work
Yeah.
mathematically. So that's where the whole fucking thing came up, is that there's another planet.
Okay, didn't they discover a planet that's hidden behind, like, I forget which planet it is. It's like, we never see it because it's behind another planet.
Yeah.
And we just recently discovered it, or
So
something
like
that?
2 years ago, this has been a whole controversy situation
Yeah.
for years. 2 years ago or whatever, they finally admitted that there's a 10th planet.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Pluto is denounced and it's not a planet anymore.
Yeah.
Now there's the ninth planet is this
Yeah.
planet. So they've been talking about this for years. For years and years and years. They
Yeah.
would not admit it.
Yeah.
So they have this other planet that has an orbit that's way further by that makes more sense and blah 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 blah. So anyways, back to this Planet X thing. So what they have, it's a fact. What they've figured out is that every sun has another binary sun, like a brother or sister sun to
Yeah.
it, but it's dark.
Yeah.
It for some reason it's always the situation where when a sun is developed, they always have like a dark matter or a dark sun that's
Yeah.
hot, but it's not bright like the other star. There's
Yeah.
lots of them. Every sun has it.
Yeah.
They say 80% of suns, like bright suns, have a binary star.
Yeah.
It's just how it works. So they figured that basically there's another planet X, planet 10,
Yeah.
that also rotates around the sun we have, which is called the binary star,
Yeah.
that has 4 or 5 planets that go around it.
Uh-huh.
Supposedly, this is conspiracy stuff,
Yeah.
and you're looking at me like you're
Yeah.
crazy. Supposedly that,
Trying to process this. But
but no, I'm being slow for you. I'm being slow for you.
Yeah, yeah, I'm trying to process
And there's a lot of these things that circulate this planet, and it's supposed to rotate around the Earth
Yeah.
at every 10,000 or whatever years it is.
Yeah.
And it comes through our solar system.
Mhm.
And this is factually, unfactually proven. They admitted it.
Is it factually or unfactually? That can't be both.
I know, that's
like
the
how do
funny
they
thing.
have proof that they?
They admitted it,
Mhm.
but then they took it away and they don't admit it.
Mhm.
Like this is from NASA and for everybody. So
Oh,
they
okay.
said that it was there. They saw something and then it was there as possible, but then
Yeah.
they kind of said it's not there now.
Yeah.
So this is at the same time where they denounced Pluto being a
Yeah.
planet, but there's a 10th planet, and they have
Yeah.
kind of really haven't admitted it totally.
Uh-huh.
So it makes it more scary.
Yeah.
So the theory is this guy that you want to probably. I remember you told me to read that one or watch that one video.
the Zen, so whatever.
The Zeitgeist, yeah.
Zeitgeist. So I watched that. So I told you to watch this other video.
Mm.
This guy's name is Zachariah Stitchin.
Uh-huh.
And he's one of the only philosophers in history that can read Sumerian text.
Oh, okay.
And they talk about basically that this 10th planet. This
Mm.
is going back
Yeah.
8,000 years ago.
Yeah.
They have the planet, they have Planet X, and they talk about it in their thing. So he talks about this planet coming around, and he talks about basically how it's called the death, or the destroyer, they call it.
Okay.
Because it cycles, and the gravitational pull of this other place,
Mhm.
other planet, throws everything off here. Anyway, long story short, is they say that this planet has this other star has planets rotating around it.
Yeah.
That when it comes close to Earth, that there's another civilization on this place, that we've shared a species with them. Anyways, long story short is, over these years, these people have been writing about this 8,000 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's fucking just a dream they made up.
It's hard to say. I mean, I don't know. I'm a man of science, so you gotta show me physical proof or some kind of.
Well, the proof is the solar system,
yeah. But
and these people wrote about the solar system back then,
Yeah.
right?
But
Like,
maybe they just had
Good
some
guess.
kind of technology that we are unaware of. Maybe they had telescopes.
but that's
and we
weird.
just don't
But if
know
you're talking
that.
about evolution,
Yeah.
shouldn't we get better telescopes then?
We do have better. Now we do.
But
Like,
we just figured this out in the last 10, 50, or 30 years, or 50 years.
Yeah.
Whatever. They've known this for 3,000 years ago.
But I mean, they got wiped out though. That's the thing, though, right? Like,
But they had that technology.
they had it, yeah, but we just don't know. We're not for sure because there's no like record of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to say. That's just speculation, right? Because
Well, it's not hard to save that. That's true.
Yeah.
They had it.
Yeah.
They wrote it out.
Yeah.
But we haven't evolved better than them.
yeah.
No? Anyways,
Well, I mean, it's a tough one. I mean,
it's interesting.
yeah, it's definitely a question. One of the questions of the universe, right?
Well, it's definitely what it is.
Yeah.
It's definitely a question of the universe.
Yeah. What are we at 2 hours already? I think we are, right?
We're at 127. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I think maybe call it for today.
Call it for today?
Yeah.
You guys want to wind it down on that serious note? Because, like, obviously we know what we're talking about.
So, aliens. There's been a lot more, as of recently, hey, there's been a huge, like, influx of UFO sightings.
Yeah.
You notice that?
I have noticed that.
Yeah. They're actually, it's to the point where now, I forget, I don't know if it's the U.S. Air Force or some kind of government. I can't remember. I read the article the other day, but they're admitting that there's this huge
There's something going on.
something's happening within the last couple months. There's been an insane amount of UFO sightings, you know.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Like sometimes I want to believe it, but at the same point, it's like, okay, well, so we have cameras that can
They're amazing.
that can like take pictures of a black hole. They just did that, right? Like just like a couple weeks ago, the first image of a black hole in like another galaxy, right? But then when I look at UFO videos, the guy's zooming in, and then once he's in full zoom, they're so blurry. It's like
So
suddenly it's so blurry. Like I don't get it. You know, like we can take pictures of like what are they just
That's a
recently
good
too.
point.
They came out with a picture of I think Saturn, and you could see like
You can see the fucking
the
rings on
clouds
this
in the
fucking
ring
thing.
and the little like like meteors and shit in the rings, right?
And
Well,
it's
no, we
not
can't
like-
take a picture of a UFO that's like, you know.
It's always
It's
blurry.
just down the street from you. Yeah,
It's always
They-
blurry.
It's like it looks good from a distance, and then as they zoom in,
It's like a
blurry.
flip-phone
It's
camera.
like blurry as shit. Yeah.
That is fucking
Yeah.
weird. They run with that shit. That's funny, actually. It's really funny that you think that there'd be one good fucking.
Yeah,
video.
one good, and then and the suspicious thing to me too is like, then recently I just watched this video, and the guy's like, it's like a canyon by these, like somewhere in like, I don't know, in Chile or something like that, and the guy's videotaping it, and from a distance, right, and this goes back to him, he's zooming in, and once he gets close enough, it's blurry as shit, right, but he's videotaping it, and then the spaceship is like looks like a space saucer. It's got a door that folds down, and it's got like stairs, you know. And it's like, holy, that's like, you know, if these guys are like traveling.
They got stairs.
Yeah, it's got stairs. You know, and it's got the floor, like the tripod like stance for it to like that's kind of like
Not even an escalator.
yeah.
Like, we have escalators and elevators.
It's just
It's
stair.
all
It literally
fucking-
just folds down like.
You see the guy walking.
Yeah. No, there was, and then it shows an alien walking from the ship, and of course it's blurry, but he's like tall, and I'm looking at it, I'm like calculating. Okay, this guy came from this ship, and then so this would be like if he went in there, it's like it would be like the size of like. You know, like an
Football
RV or a
RV,
minivan.
yeah, okay.
So like, it's not even that big, right? So
And he comes
so,
out.
yeah.
Unscrews his thing and he comes out like this thing. Oh.
It's like,
That's pretty funny, actually.
and then like, okay, so he traveled all this way from some other fucking to go do what in the canyon where there's only rocks and like, you know, like what is it? What are you doing there, bro? You know?
It's pretty funny when you say it that way. It is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like I honestly, I used to be the guy to be like, well, there's so many sightings,
There's so many, yeah.
but like same with ghosts.
Yeah.
Like people that see like dead people.
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
Yeah.
I'm a very like, well, there's so many, so one has to be real.
Yeah.
But then I'm like the placebo effect is like kind of like, I don't know anymore. I don't know
I'm
anymore.
not a ghost believer, you know.
I'm not either.
Yeah. But it's like there's like going back to Game of Thrones again. One of the characters asked the other guy, "Do you believe in ghosts?" And the guy's like, "Well, one time I went into a room, and in the chair there was a dent in the chair, and I could smell the perfume of the lady who had been there." So he says, if you can leave remnants of yourself, why couldn't you leave like a trace of your spirit or your being?
Maybe the guy was just super fucked up.
No, I don't know. I'm not saying it totally right.
No,
but yeah.
I know
But
what
like
you
he
mean,
was
I know
saying,
what
like
you
he went into a room that he thought was empty, but there was an indent in the chair where a woman had sat, and he could smell her perfume. So he knew that a woman had been there, right?
So I understand that
Yeah.
a TV show would probably do this.
Yeah.
But do you know anybody that's like I
I've had
don't.
people tell me they've seen ghosts and stuff, but I've personally myself, I don't believe in ghosts.
Do you think that because you deny it all the time that you just aren't like your censor like your what do you say your censorship to it is, do you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
is just like locked out? Like I'm the same way. Like I don't believe in that either.
So I don't think so. I think it's just like, I think people see what they want to see.
Yeah.
And believe what
I
they
agree with
want to
that.
believe.
I agree
you
with that.
know?
I agree with that. I
And,
think that's what happens.
Because it's just like, it starts to become like if there is ghosts, it's not like a spiritual thing. It's like a scientific thing, where our DNA or something. You know what I mean? It's not like a.
I think
It's not like
I think
it's not witchcraft or
No, I think it's
magic
like
or
a
anything.
chemical
Like that.
thing in your mind that like you produce this image. I'm not saying that people don't see that
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I'm just saying that maybe their mind has tricked them to
Yeah.
see this thing. But like then you go into the whole. Do you believe in other dimensions or other realms?
I mean, I think there's a chance, but I'm like, you know,
Right.
unless nobody can really confirm if there's other dimensions.
So are these
and
people
stuff.
seeing that?
You might be seeing that, yeah. You might be seeing like
You know what I mean?
like a glitch in the matrix,
Right,
right? Like
right.
it's just like you're just witnessing a past,
distortion,
yeah, a distortion where it's showing a ghost or whatever, but it's just like
The other dimension.
it's just like a ghost image on like a VHS tape where
Right.
when you record over it and there's like still background shit in there, right?
Yeah.
Right? When you
That's actually funny because that's so true. Josh Duckett, I think that shit is bullshit. Maybe I'm too close-minded. However, it is good to consider for me. Go.
Yeah, I
That's
mean-
good. Right on. That's awesome.
well, that's it's good to be open minded, but at the same time you know
It's good to be closed-minded
yeah.
sometimes too.
Well, it's good to like want facts first before you
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
hold on to anything, and then
It is true.
right.
The thing about too is like, that's where I'm kind of leaning more and more now. Where I'm at is that like, I used to believe that there used to be like aliens that visit when I was younger. Do that stuff. I did projects on it. I talked about.
Yeah.
But logically, it doesn't make sense. But now I'm getting to a point where I really think that there's different dimensions,
Yeah.
like where you can go, like
I kind of believe that too. I kind of believe that too. But
you can get lost.
well, like if you didn't like when you if you have a dream and it's so real and it's so and then like have you ever had a dream where you're doing something or you're somebody else and it's so real and you're doing shit that makes no sense, like it's not like it's out of character or it has nothing to do with you. You know, like I
Lost.
remember I had a dream where I was like a shoemaker somewhere making shoes or something. It's like that's nothing to do with my real life. Or,
But you lived it.
Yeah,
And in
and
your
it's-
dream, you're actually talking to people,
Yeah.
and you actually
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like you've done that. And then
Yeah.
you wake up and you're like, no, you don't feel out of place.
Yeah.
You feel like this is what I did
Yeah.
at one time. in
Well,
my
I
life.
have had dreams where I had a totally different wife. I lived in a different, house. I was like,
Lots.
I was still me, but it was like a totally different,
like a
life.
different
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
a different dimension, different
Yeah.
time frame of where we fucking were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, dreams are either really fucking powerful,
Or is it you like?
or it's something that actually
You're,
possibly
you know.
sinked into.
Well, that's what they're
It's a
saying.
different, like different dimension.
Well, they're saying like when you have like really crazy dreams, it's because your brain's pushing the DMT, right?
Yeah.
And then a lot of people will say that DMT is interdimensional travel.
It has to
you
be.
know,
Well,
and
even
so-
even if it's not, we've all done DMT,
Yeah,
right? You've done it.
yeah.
I've done DMT. Even if it's not,
Yeah.
it's still freedom from something.
Yeah.
You know, it still allows you to see something that you weren't allowed to see before.
Yeah.
So whether or not it's like that's how, if it really is the dimension thing or not, it's just something that allows you to see something, which is so bizarre and so real.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's been documented cases of there was one kid, he had a dream. He had a dream that he lived a different life, and he's young, right? He was like 7, 8, and he would tell his parents about the dream and stuff. And then he had a different life, and he was murdered, right, in that life. And he was actually he was able to name places, who killed him, and he actually led them to the body of the person that he lived that got killed. So it's like,
Yeah.
how do you explain that, right? Like, and this is a little kid. That's not like, it's not like some crazy thing that he made up. Like.
Yeah. There's another movie too, which is something to do with it's something to do with God or Jesus, whatever. And this kid dies, whatever, and he says he went to heaven and all this stuff.
Mhm.
Similar thing.
Yeah.
And he comes back, and he's like an 8-year-old kid.
Mhm.
True story. This is a true story. They have a
Yeah.
documentary on it. He came back and he said all this, described all this stuff.
Mm.
And whatever, they go through the movie and do all this other bullshit, sad stuff. Who cares? But there's another girl that was in Russia that had said the same thing, and so her story got popular in Russia, and she ended up being she was an artist as a kid, and she ended up drawing the photo of Jesus, of what she thought the image was when she was in this world.
Yeah.
And somehow this kid or this family came across this photo
Yeah.
walking down the street or going on the internet, whatever the fuck it was, and the first thing the kid said is, "That's him."
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
That's him. And his dad was like, "Who's that? What do you mean who's that?" He said, "That's Jesus."
Yeah.
And that's the guy who I saw in the afterlife.
Uh-huh.
Whether or not it's afterlife Jesus or afterlife whatever,
Yeah.
he pointed it out.
Yeah.
And it was, that's who she drew.
Oh yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, things like that, you're like,
Mm.
you know what I mean?
It's,
Is that
yeah.
is that a
You have to
placebo effect?
question. I don't know. Maybe sometimes it's like, are we all connected in some way? And some people have a stronger connection to other people than and it's kind of like, the distance doesn't matter? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I could be on one side of the world, you could be on the other, and then somehow some way that we
You're
live
lit.
our lives, and then all of a sudden now
Yeah.
we met. Like for me and you, for example, like we didn't know each other prior to, you're friends with my brother-in-law, and
Yeah.
and now all of a sudden here we are
Sitting here
doing a podcast.
And we never think that.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing too, is like when you meet certain people, like, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but when you meet certain people, like instantly, either you feel like away,
Mhm.
or you feel like someone you like. You can be in
Yeah.
a group when you go to Mexico or Cuba, wherever, anywhere in the world you travel. You even go to Portugal,
Yeah.
and you go to a bar and you sit there and you're like,
oh, this is somebody I know
Yeah.
I can get along with.
Yeah, right. Like almost
Instantly.
instantly
Like,
too.
as soon as you walk
yeah,
in, you'd be
yeah.
like,
Yeah, a few words, or I think it's, or even like reading, like the little cues in like when you're having a conversation.
Subconsciously,
Yeah,
you
you just
You
know.
just know
and,
in
yeah,
your mind. You're like,
and
I know this guy's gonna be the same as me.
Yeah,
Somehow.
you can have a conversation and it works because it's not like, having the same frame of mind is a really weird thing, and that's.
But
And I
that's
feel like, is that a connection that you've built throughout time, like from other lives, where we've all, I've always said that
Maybe,
to,
maybe.
I've always said that to, my family, like my wife and kids. I'm like, this isn't the first life that we've lived together. This isn't the connection that we have is not,
Yeah.
is not just from this life. It's from the past lives.
So-
My family's Buddhist, so I believe in reincarnation, right? So,
I know that's
yeah.
funny because you talked about this. You believe in that. You keep reliving the
Yeah.
life over and over. Now, do you believe that you fall in love with the same girl every time? Like, but not saying like the same girl. Let's go with the same girl. Let's go, same woman, same whatever. But maybe the image is different, but the same personality, the same soul every time.
That's a tough thing. I feel like.
Or like when
I feel like when
you're a porn star.
when we're
You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think that you live a million trillion lives. You
Different
live all
lives.
you live the life of a slave. You were a man. You were a woman. You were, a child. You were
Yeah.
fucking Hitler in
Yeah.
one life. You were Jesus in one life. You know what I mean? It's just like
You
live
live over and over
That's the
again.
thing. Is like your whole. I believe that your soul, your whole reason for being is to experience, to feel a specific experience.
Yeah.
Like whether it's some people.
the only question I have about that doesn't make sense to me, and I totally like this idea
Yeah.
of like we live multiple lives, and it makes sense because
Yeah.
of dreams and things
Yeah.
I've experienced. It makes sense because I'm comfortable in some places where I shouldn't be comfortable.
Yeah.
Is that like how does population grow? Is it because maybe animals? You like if you believe it, like because you're Buddhist thing, but like how does one like I don't know like population is like what is it like 6, 7?
Well, that's the thing.
billion now?
There is no limit to population. There's like for like
But it only gets bigger,
the
right?
souls are like energy, and energy never dies. It's always constant. It can break up and become more energy. You know what I mean? It's like.
Oh, that's
like,
interesting.
that's the thing. It's
That's
like
interesting, yeah.
there is no limit to it. There's like
So it can grow too.
it can grow. And I feel like maybe we're
Oh, yeah,
one
I
ball.
never thought of that.
We're one ball of energy, and they broke up into smaller pieces.
Oh, that's
Which
interesting.
is me, you,
That's
your
interesting.
wife,
That's interesting.
everybody in our circle, and
Yeah.
then that
Never
ball
looked at it
is
that way.
intermixing throughout and then
So basically, you cannot count it. You can't count energy.
you can't. No, it's
because society
Yeah.
or the human race was at 1 million at one time.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't mean it can't be 7 million.
It can't
because
be.
of
Yeah, it
energy.
doesn't mean that. Yeah, it's
Because it
just-
could have been something else.
Yeah, it could. It's actually like I think the number is like infinitely higher than
Everything.
But and then everything. Some people are living lives as a plant. Some people will live their life as a tree.
And then they understand.
You're
And you know-
experiencing everything, what it feels like to be anything and everything that's
And
material.
I've thought about this before. And the only thing that makes me think that way, that this is a possible way of life,
Mhm.
is that everything on Earth
Mhm.
lives this way,
Yeah.
except the way we think as humans.
Yeah.
So a plant
Mhm.
regenerates.
Yeah.
Water
Yeah.
regenerates.
Yeah.
Like everything that we know has a cycle of coming back, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, and turning into this. Like
Yeah.
garbage you throw in the ground
Yeah.
eventually turns into soil.
Yeah.
Soil turns into this,
Mhm.
and then eventually there's something else that turns into something
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
And humans, for some reason, never ever think that way. It's interesting. But that
Because
now
we're not on that level yet. We're still evolving into our mental capacity is still. We're still stuck in this material world where we're still trying to grasp our lives and trying to
Yeah, we're trying-
once we get to the point of like the Star Trek point where you know what I mean.
we think we're better than everyone.
Yeah, we think we're like more important than we think
Than a
we're
tree.
more important than a tree. Yeah. Meanwhile, there's physical evidence. Like you see people do time lapses of plants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the plants are moving. They're breathing. They're like
No, I know.
inhaling and
It's
exhaling.
freaky.
That's true. But when we look at it, it's just like, oh, this is just
It's that fucking stupid
this
tree.
is a thing that's just sitting there.
Just-
Meanwhile, it's in a different time than we. It's moving in a different time than we are, right?
And, but it's still alive.
Yeah, it's still
living.
alive. It's got
living
like
being.
there's a thing where like for a forest of trees, they're like
they're all coincide. They
Yeah,
work
they're
together.
and they're I forget what I watched, but they're like communicating with
Yes,
with
they
each
do
other.
communicate.
Yeah.
Because my wife's brother, my wife's brother, my brother-in-law, is taking this course through U of M of how to understand plants. What I don't know what the fuck that scientific name is, but he was explaining to me that like there's a certain way that certain plants roots grow
Yeah.
to communicate with other plants,
Yeah.
and when that plant finally hits a certain point, they'll
Yeah.
communicate to this plant
Yeah.
to take water, and then there's actually to a certain smartness or understanding that if this plant has too much water, they'll cut off their resources to give it to this
Yeah,
plant, the other
yeah,
plant,
exactly.
and like help each other
Yeah,
out.
and
by
help each other out to grow.
They have
yeah.
their own language,
Yeah, yeah.
which is kind of fucked up because they're smart enough to do that. But yeah, I don't know. That's one thing that makes me really
That's,
believe
that's why
probably a
people
thing.
like have a real connection to plant, the tree of knowledge. That's one reference. Or Adam and Eve, the apple, the tree. You eat the apple from the tree of
Yeah.
knowledge. The plants like we don't give. We think plants are just fucking
Just plants.
standing there. But meanwhile they're actually like. And you think about there's some trees that have lived. Like the oldest tree is what, like 10,000 years old or something like that.
old. I
The
don't
oldest
know.
tree
They're
ever.
old as fuck.
Yeah, it's old.
Trees live
There's some
forever.
people that have bonsai trees that are like 500, 600 years old. It's like,
And there's
and that's
those
seen
are,
the
like,
time that's like before you
that's
and I
a
were
long
even
time. 500 years. That's the funny
Imagine
thing
that,
is,
like you sense as a tree, you live that long, you sense.
but that's the funny thing about humans in general is that we live on a platform of 90 to 100 years,
Yeah.
and that's the problem with us.
Mm.
Problem with us is that we live on a 100-year span. 100 if you're lucky. Say 90. So you live on a 90-year span.
Mm.
So you try to install and change the world in 90 years, and
Yeah.
you're not even really smart enough to understand fuck all until you're probably
Yeah.
35 plus or 30
Yeah.
some years plus.
Yeah.
So now you really only have like 45, 50 years to install into your kids everything that's important. Now you have to install into a kid that's a kid that really was going to look at you and go, well, that's fucking bullshit. Fuck you, I'm not listening. But then when they get to be 30 or 40, they're going to take a couple points of what you said and then install in the next generation.
Yeah.
That makes it really difficult. We have a super weak factor of being human race compared to like trees or butterflies.
I think a lot of it is because what we have, what makes us human is our conscious, that we are aware that we're alive. We're aware that we are like beings, right? Like other things don't know. Like an ant doesn't know that it's alive. It just knows to go, collect this and feed.
It knows
feed
its
their-
job.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a job.
for us, we know we're alive.
We have a soul. We have
Yeah,
feelings.
yeah.
We actually.
But the
live.
problem with that is we have to there's a maturity phase that kills a lot of it. Like you don't really, when you're young and dumb, young, dumb, full of cum.
That's what
you're
I'm
like
saying.
your life is like you feel like you're gonna live forever, and then as you get older, your brain starts to be like, oh shit, I don't have that much time. Now the more important things, and that's if we could get through that earlier.
Bam! Right away, like as a kid.
Yeah, and as a kid, like if you think about it, people always ask the question, if you could go back in time
Yeah.
and relive your life, but still maintain the same knowledge that you
That's a
have
good
now.
point.
If I had that,
Why the
dude,
fuck not?
yeah.
Why don't we do that?
Then we would be the Rockefellers. We would be Bill Gates. Because we wouldn't fuck around with sitting in the park for a full year smoking weed all day and burning out. Right? You know what I mean? We wouldn't do that shit. We
We
wouldn't
all
do that
did
stupid
that.
shit.
We all did that.
Yeah. Anybody with any sort of like growing up wise.
And that's the funny thing is my dad used to look at me and be like, just put $50 in.
Yeah,
each
you need
way.
to get that advice from your parents.
I'd be like,
And
fuck you.
Yeah,
you don't
can't-
know shit.
Like, you work a minimum wage job, working 40 hours a week to get a bullshit paycheck, and then to go blow it on $200 shoes, right? Just to impress some bitches that
And then you listen to the old people. They're like, "Why do you have stupid?
But if you think about it,
$200.
No, but you think about it now. If you go back and all the money that you spent on bullshit, right? Like the clothes that I bought.
Some of it doesn't matter,
Yeah,
really.
that doesn't mean shit.
But it mattered in society.
And then
but it
that
doesn't
time it
matter.
mattered because you wanted to flex. You want
to flex.
Yeah.
I never
Right?
heard that.
You want to
flex.
like. You want to impress because you're trying to get laid, right?
That's the problem.
Right?
It's all the pussy.
Yeah.
The pussy problems. The flexing.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's
It's
the
a
thing.
vicious cycle out there for men.
It's all,
and women.
and that's the thing. If I was younger and I put away that money,
If people
and
just
bought,
got away from
yeah.
the
the egotistical. Girls would just sleep with guys
Yeah.
with Velcro shoes.
Yeah.
Guys would be better. Girls would be better. If girls would just sleep
Or
with guys,
the thing
no
is,
car.
that's the thing is, if you would have been mature enough to not rely on your physical appearance to like, there's
But-
some guys you see some ugly ass dudes with some hot ass girls
Now,
because
but I mean, there's guys out there. That's a problem too, though. If you are young, like say you're 16 and
Yeah.
you're that mature dude that understands that bullshit,
Yeah.
like a 30-year-old mentality,
Yeah.
and then you're like, well, fuck, I don't need those nice shoes, and you wear the shitty shoes,
Yeah.
and then you're not focusing on being the cool guy.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
like,
or
fuck
be the
it,
party guy, yeah.
I'm gonna get a good job when
Yeah.
I'm 16.
Yeah.
No fucking girls when you're 16 are trying to sleep with that guy.
Yeah. But the thing is,
It turns around.
no, but the thing is when
comes
you're
around.
when you're that age and if you have that mentality, you're not interested in you're
Oh, those
you-
guys
you know,
wanna get laid,
No,
dude.
even though like let's say you're that age and you're so into
They want to get
like
laid.
you know, of course they do, but
They want
at
the hot chick
but
that's not
at the
gonna
same
suck
time,
their
it's like you got to get a chick that's on your level now. Like these little young chicks are not on your level anymore. You know what I mean?
But the
Because
thing
you're,
is,
like,
there's no 30-year-old fucking girl sleeping with some 16-year-old girl
yeah,
unless
yeah.
you're Cardi B.
Hey man, you know,
Unless you're Cardi B.
you know, I could tell you some stories.
Well, no, you know what I mean. It's not a common thing.
But that's the thing, like, but
you gotta have some swagger too.
well, that's the thing. Yeah, you can't.
You can't
having the, you know, I always tell my kids, there's two important smarts: book smarts
Or
and
street
street
smarts.
smarts.
Yeah, that's
But I go street smarts trumps book smarts any day because you know
Yes
you can
and
be
no.
smart. No, listen. But this is my thing is
You better be really book smart.
you can if you're street smart you will survive. You know you will doesn't matter. Like you and I are not book smart. You know what I mean?
no,
Me and you,
I,
right?
I didn't make it.
Me neither.
I'm
You know,
super
that's what I'm
street
saying.
smart.
I'm street smart, but we're successful in our own ways, doing what we do, not because we're smart. It's because
No.
we know, you know, understanding how to read people, understanding how socializing.
Yeah.
Those are way more important skills than being able to do trigonometry or being able to like,
Yeah.
you know, calculate the
Depend-
fucking mass of the, you know, this or that, right? Like.
I agree with that, but
Because the thing is, when you give up book smarts, you have to give up just social skills.
you have to give some. Give some one of the.
Yeah.
But that's I mean,
Like you look at Einstein, that guy was not getting laid at all. You know? That guy got no pussy. You know. So.
if he was doing math on it.
Yeah.
He's like, what's the fucking trigonometry to this fucking
What
G
is
spot?
the circumference
He's
of the
like-
G spot is the perpendicular angle.
Yeah, he fucked up. But that's the difference, though. That's what I was gonna say. Is like there's a difference. Is that so? I'm not talking about your kids in general. I'm talking about people in general,
Yeah.
or when I was a kid, whatever. That's the difference? Is that like you make there's three things. You make an exception that you're street smart and you run with that,
Mhm.
or you make an exception that you're book smart and you run with that.
Or you know what the thing is when you're this is my counter to that is when you're street smart, you can be a bit book smart. You know, like for me,
You
for
can
example,
try.
no, but for like give me for example, I think I'm very street smart, but I'm also I'm also a scholar.
you're knowledgeable.
You know,
You
yeah,
do research,
I
you
do
do stuff.
research. Yeah, I like
Now,
I
though,
like,
but not
being
in
a-
16.
But when you're 16, that's to go back to that earlier. Is like that's the dumbass part of your life where you really just want to be cool and do fuck all and just like
Yeah.
be the badass and be like
But like you're saying to your kids, or what people say, if I had a kid, I would push it to street smart for the fact is that I think a lot of where you grow up in life matters too.
Yeah.
So if we were growing up in California
Yeah.
or in LA,
Yeah.
I think that depending if you're not going to be an actor or you're not going to be this, street smart might work. But I think there's a lot more street smart people there that you could get involved with a lot of bad things.
But
I
that's part of
think
being
that
street
book-
smart is to being able to read, to be able to
To
like,
read and get
this guy's a
through.
dick
But it's
or
harder
this
in a
guy.
big city. Like,
Well,
Winnipeg is
the
different.
when you're better at it, you know, you're like
If you're great,
You can. The thing with street smarts is with being a street smart person, you hustle.
you hustle.
The
But
hustle
there's,
is
but
where
the
it
thing
is.
is, like it's like a dog eat dog world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like in Winnipeg, the hustle wasn't as real as it would be in like fucking LA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's gonna be a lot of
Yeah.
more street smart people. Like you know, it's like the scholars, like
Yeah.
the book smart people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of book smart people in big cities, more than in Winnipeg. So if you want to battle against street smarts,
we're battling, no offense, in Winnipeg, the competition for street smarts and understanding.
Well, let's say I did
manipulate-
this. Well, let's say let's like for example.
Evolution
Let me do this. Let's say this. If you're book smart, let's say you're a fucking nerd, right?
Yeah.
Or street smarts.
Winnipeg nerd? Or
well, let's say
world
I take
nerd?
you right now, as you are right now.
A
I
nerd?
took like how you are right now.
Yeah.
You say you're street smart, right?
I think I'm
okay.
more street smart,
I think
yeah.
you're street smart too. If I took everything from you, your house, all your money, took you, put you on a plane to LA, threw you in LA with no money, only the clothes on your back,
Good point.
would you survive?
Good point.
You would,
Yeah.
yeah. It doesn't matter how many other streets.
Yeah.
You would not
Yeah.
be right. It
Yeah.
would be what, a day or two before you would at least.
Yeah.
You know, I
You're right.
like I've always said that
You're
to
right.
my wife.
You're right.
If, like,
You're right.
you know what?
That's a very
That
valid point.
we will never be homeless.
Yeah, you're right.
Like not, I don't care whatever happened. If I gotta rob, steal,
Yeah, you're right.
you know,
You're
a broke
right.
nerd person,
You
it
know,
would be
you've-
like,
you've seen it all.
yeah.
That you know what you have to
You have to
get
do,
it
yeah.
done.
It's like the street smart people are the
Yeah.
ones that hunt.
You're
They're
right.
the hunters, the alpha. You know, like those are the ones that
You're right.
make shit
you know
happen.
how,
Yeah.
you know how good I feel right now after you said that?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh yeah, like I had a good buddy. I had a really good buddy.
That's a good point.
He,
And I knew that about myself, but I didn't know exactly what you said. You broke it
Yeah,
down very right.
yeah.
If you pick someone up,
yeah,
a street smart person and
Yeah.
a book smart person,
Yeah.
and you place them,
place them in
another
in
world,
another
and
situation.
you put them down,
Yeah.
who would make it?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
That book smart person better be fucking good.
Yeah, they better know. They better like have
Figure out street
skills.
smarts.
Yeah, you know, the street smart guy will figure out if I gotta eat garbage to
Oh, fuck,
survive.
I know where to go to
yeah,
warm up.
I know where to go get the garbage. You know,
I know
and,
where to eat.
Well, it's like I had a buddy of mine who got busted, right, and then he got deported back home,
Yeah.
right. So he literally lost everything, got deported back home, didn't have anything to his name, and didn't have family, nothing there, but because he has street smarts, right? He's doing like amazing. Like we're friends on Facebook, right? So he's driving convertible Mercedes,
Yeah.
and like he's like sells real estate out there, right?
So he's
So
done well.
from his skills of being street smart, because street smart is social skills too. Like right, we're talking about being able to read people. That's all. Like I'm in sales, you're in sales.
We're in sales every day.
Yeah, so we gotta sell ourselves all the time. Where a book smart person, they just gotta have the numbers or come up with, they sit there and just. Well, us, we have to like communicate with people all day fucking long and read people all day long because
That's
that's our
true,
life, So that's a skill that you like. A lot of nerdy people don't have. They're like socially awkward. They're like,
It's funny. Have you ever played? This sounds so stupid, but have you ever played the game Dungeons and Dragons
Mhm.
with buddies when you have the dice and you,
I tried. I played like one campaign.
like, campaign?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's hard. I actually didn't know anything. And I'm not that kind of
Yeah.
guy usually. Like,
Yeah.
but I'm always open to like new ideas. And it's funny is that like when you level up or you build talent and you roll for the talent,
Yeah.
how much it resembles life
Yeah.
it kind of breaks it down
Yeah.
for people, someone like me.
Yeah.
Maybe people that rely on that as a
Yeah.
game, maybe
Yeah.
they can't see it, but
Yeah.
I see it. I'm like rolling a 10. I'm like, I'm a fucking 10 at this.
Yeah.
And I roll like a 3, and I'm like a shitty social game.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
What is it? You roll one, and then it's like, oh wait, you have +5 your charisma, right?
Yeah, and you're like, what
your
the
chance of like buying this is good, or you're fighting this. You have like +5 strength, so that adds on to your that's like real pretty much
Well,
like,
life,
yeah.
right? Like you
can
learn
break it
things
down,
as
yeah.
you go, right?
Yeah.
And then you're better and better at doing
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like when you're like selling a car. You see this person come, and you can read if they're serious. You have plus
Intuition.
You have
Yes.
+10 intuition, so you
Yeah,
can read
you
whether
see
whether
before-
they're here seriously going to buy a car or they're just here to fucking browse, right?
See, that's a hard thing for me is that to understand, because I'm a very fair dude. Like I don't see myself ever better, worse, or anything. I go through life fair.
yeah.
I give everyone the fair chance.
Yeah.
I love everyone the same.
Yeah.
I think everyone has the same possibilities
Yeah.
and the same smartness. But in reality, like we're sitting here talking about it, it's like when we break it down that way, every human being has different talents.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
gonna agree with that?
Uh-huh.
Some humans can be more charismatic, or
Mhm.
they can be more intuition, or they
Mhm.
can be stronger, they do everything, and they might have minus
Mhm.
those numbers.
Yeah.
Which is really hard for me to think when I talk to somebody. It's really hard for me to uh, understand them sometimes, but also dumb myself down
Yeah.
to think that there's no way that this person doesn't understand this.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way that
Well,
you don't know what I know.
Well, that's
like
the
you're
thing.
older than me.
Like it's like going back to the D&D, analogy. It's like you get 100 points,
Oh,
right?
Dungeons and Dragons,
You can
sorry.
only put
Coming.
right. You can only put a certain amount.
100, a
And
number.
if you put something there, you have to minus from something else.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you look at like Rockefellers. They have 100.
Everything.
Economic skills, but that minus is social skills,
Yeah.
empathy. Minus, you got to be willing to burn villages and kill people. You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
so-
yeah, right.
They're just burning people alive.
Yeah, but you have to trade that. To
But
be
it's
able-
kind of true
yeah.
though,
Oh, it's
because
totally
honestly,
true,
I've been fortunate enough that I've had the opportunity to be friends with like uber rich, not
Yeah.
uber rich people being like 15, 17 million dollar people. Like they
Yeah.
obviously have 17 million dollars in the
yeah.
bank. And I'm always blown away when I meet these people
Mhm.
is the skills they lack.
Yeah.
Like just common everyday
Uh-huh,
skills.
yeah.
Like I can hang out with my friends like you or
Yeah.
someone else and they could sit here and have the most fun ever and
Yeah.
like we'd be sitting here, this is fun.
Mm.
But I wouldn't rank this like number one fun in my life.
Yeah.
This is like pretty good.
Yeah.
This is a good
yeah.
night. We're having
This
fun.
is good. Yeah.
But I mean like when this $17 million person would sit beside us,
Yeah. It'd be like the
Be
time
like-
of their life.
it'd be like check this off for something done.
Yeah,
Like
bucket
this is off the
list.
bucket list.
Yeah.
Fucking blast.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, dude, like
This is what I do every weekend.
yeah, this is a regular
Yeah,
Thursday or Monday.
yeah.
Like this is a Sunday.
Yeah.
But like that's what I mean. It's like there's sacrifices that these people that have made
Yeah,
without even
yeah,
knowing.
to be that millionaire, to be that
You know what I mean? Like-
yeah. But that's the thing, same with me. Like I have friends who are pretty well off, like, and I don't really see them that much because they're always they're always doing their business, or if they're not doing their business, they're vacationing with their family, which is great. Like
Yeah.
it's awesome. But I mean,
That's
like,
that's
yeah.
right. But I think that sometimes do you ever think that? See, that maybe now you made me think. It's like, do you think that they? I'm not saying I don't want to have my family, but I mean, do you think they choose that, or is that all they fucking have? That for a decision, they don't have those buddies to do that trip with.
No, I think I mean it depends.
Or they don't want to.
That's like pretty open ended, like it depends.
I know you could always buy a buddy.
Well, I know like one of my buddies who's one of the probably one of the richest guys I know.
Yeah.
Right. We grew up together, so we have a circle of friends that we grew up with, and so he's got he can hang out every weekend if he wanted to.
But he chooses not to.
But he chooses not to because sometimes
Because-
it's just like you wanna because he works so much, right? And he's got businesses to run, so weekends he wants to hang out with his family.
But
Or
that
he
just
wants
makes
to-
us feel like pieces of shit.
Why?
Because why don't we just want to hang out with the family?
I hang out with my family. I don't know what you're talking about.
But no.
Yeah.
But so we have more time that we hang out with our family more than him? Is that
No.
what you're saying? I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
What do you mean?
So when he has spare time, he hangs out with his family.
Yeah.
Doesn't hang out with you or me
Yeah.
or I don't know the
Yeah.
guy. But all the people
Well,
I don't know.
sometimes him and I will be like, "Hey, let's go out for dinner, or let's go hang out one time," and we make that time. But it's not like
People on that
on
level-
the regular.
But have you ever just has he ever got shit faced with you and just
Oh, yeah.
fucking
Huh?
took his pants off and peed himself or
Oh,
something?
yeah, all the time.
like
Oh,
so
yeah.
we know.
Uh-huh.
You know it's something weird?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he does this?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
he does
well,
that.
that's
he's,
it. I
he's
don't
like
know.
he would be on our level, but he's just got a lot of money, right?
Okay, well that's different then.
Yeah.
I don't know, like the people that are on that level that I know are like, they just don't get it. Like they're just like, that's not fun for me. Like
Yeah.
not that that's not fun for me. It's like that's not even available in their mind to think about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it also depends on who you grew. Like personality means a lot too, right?
Well,
Like,
absolutely.
Like for me, like I'm a very social person. I don't like. I have to have days where I'm not just hanging with my family. I have to be like. I have to
I
have
need it.
one day a week where
I
I'm
need
like just bros or
I need it.
Yeah, you need that because.
I need it.
Because the half the time, if once you're in a different, when you put on the family hat, you're doing family stuff. But there's nights where you have to have a bro night where you're just
But
getting wrecked.
I need
Just,
it.
right? Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah.
And that's what my wife and I always like kind of.
And my wife is welcome to join and stuff, but if I
Absolutely.
don't give her attention. Like I do, like it's not like I ignore her, but
This is bro night.
it's more, yeah. Like if my wife was here,
Bro
like,
night.
they'd be hanging out, and me and you would be talking.
Yeah, this is bro
Right?
night.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
don't bug me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the same thing. I mentally, psychologically, I need those escapes from reality.
Yeah.
I need that.
Well,
time.
that's not even an escape. That is reality, right? You know, hanging out with your friends is reality.
Yeah, maybe that's more
Right?
reality
You
than
know,
anything.
it's
But
just,
but
it's just
some
like to
people don't
shut
need
your
that.
brain off from like thinking about bills, thinking about work,
Going to work, and
yeah, and just having conversation.
But some people need
You know?
that. But
Oh,
I
think a
need
lot
to
of
get
people
away
need
from it.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta take a piss. You
Oh,
manage
oh.
this. We have 50,000 people. Oh, thanks for buying this house for us. We got golf clubs now too. Fuck. We
Golf
got
clubs.
Fucking.
We got the Les is the Winnipeg Tiger Woods.
Fuck. Exactly.
Yeah. How's everybody doing out here? We're about to shut this down soon. It's already, I think we got on our 2-hour mark. Thank you for sticking around and watching. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I think when Les gets back, we're gonna shut her down, call it a night, and we'll be back on next weekend. Yeah, I see Les had a dinner party. I see steak. I see like salad and desserts and stuff. Looks good. Wish I was invited, but you know, that's cool.
Why are you laughing?
Well, I was just referring to all the
What they say
like
about-
the steak and all the food you have here and
Watch this.
How-
Talk
how-
about the elevator.
oh shit. Yeah, he's going down to go get to the wine cellar and getting more wine.
No, this one. Ah, got it. Whew.
Think maybe it's time to shut her down, eh?
Well, I got it from the basement, I guess.
I think we hit the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, I think we should. All right, boys. Good show. Thanks, buddy. Love you, Josh Tuckett.
Thank you for hanging out, bro.
Thank you for live streaming with us. Anyways, everyone have fun at work tomorrow.
Hey, it's Monday tomorrow.
Monday. Okay, well, let's do a count. Any questions? We're on 30. I just spit on my arm, you guys. That was weird.
Spitting all over the screen. There's spit all over the monitor right
That's Soup's job usually.
now. The lesson is to swallow.
Bash you with my Bible. Don't do drugs. Praise Jesus. Amen. Maximum Gab? Gub?
Gab.
I will
Oh, yeah.
bash you all.
If you're not following us, give us a follow.
Hey, even if you bash us, Maximum, give us a follow on Twitch, please. I love you. And Jesus does too.
Love you guys.
Peace, homies. Oh, wait.